Well, a yo-ho-ho, we're out of control. It's episode 18 of Longtime Watcher, First Time Writer. Thank you for joining us once again as we get a surprisingly bittersweet pair of episodes here for today. I am, as always, your longtime writer, King Fats the 95th, joined by my wonderful first-time watchers, Action Shakespeare.
You got it backwards, but alright.
Did I? What did I fuck up?
You said long-time writer, first-time watchers.
Whatever. You know what fucking podcast it is.
We're fucking shook today.
Look, we're 18 episodes in. You know what the fuck you're watching.
I'm traumatized.
Yeah.
The other person here is B-Drops.
Hi, that's me.
There's a third person here. They're the magical whale gopher.
Yeah. I love the way you phrase that. They're just like, they're here too.
Also here, I guess.
Look, I'm fucking upset.
That's fair. I'm also upset.
You do this shit to me, and then you make me record a podcast, and I have to be the one to fucking intro it in. And then I got fucking Shakes heckling me. You do it then if you're so fucking smart. Alright, do it.
Let's go.
Welcome everybody to the 18th episode of Longtime Watcher, First Time Writer. We got a really special set of episodes that took us on a bit of a whirlwind of emotions, I'd say.
Do the rest.
I don't have the episode names.
No, next is the introductions. We don't do the episode names until a little bit.
Oh, you're just going all the way back. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I am one of your first time writers, Action Shakespeare. We are of course joined by other first time writers, B-Drops.
Hello.
The magical whale gopher.
Hello.
And our longtime watcher, King Fats 95th.
I'm fucking upset. I will let Wordsy decide which take he uses.
I think both.
I imagine truly you don't get the full experience unless you do booth. Both.
Do booth.
Booth.
Give us
booth.
I think Wordsy for these very special episodes should just start us off at the record.
Yeah.
At Jake the Snake.
Sometimes I want at Jake the Snake.
Just
speaking of Wordsy, real quick, I do want to sidecast. Fucking Christ! I want to sidetrack our podcast, just for a brief second to say, even though it's going to be late when people hear this, big happy birthday to our friend and editor Wordsy, who is getting older today on the recording day of the podcast. I don't know how old this man is. Yeah,
right before our eyes.
It's a miracle.
Eternal.
Yeah. But yeah, happy birthday, Wordsy. You're a friend and a confidant, and thank you for the good work that you do on the podcast, and the good work that you do on all of the other stuff that you work on as well. Run Golden Sky Stories ever.
And hey,
oh, wow.
You know what? Rigagoo-goo.
Rigagoo-goo.
No, but for real.
Well, now that's all been cut.
Yeah.
Obliterated into silence.
Yeah. Now that that's all been cut, we are going to go ahead and be talking about episodes 40 and 41. Those are Deathmatch, the Monster Snowman versus the two riders, and the Magma Monster Ghoster, Great Decisive Battle at Sakurajima. But before we go ahead and take on those episodes, we've got something else that's real important to take on, and that's the death count with B-Drops.
Thank you, King Fats. So, last two episodes, as you may recall, we had a lot of bloodshed, given that we had a mixture of sword fights and base explosions in both those episodes. Delightful. Also, kind of nice to just see Hayato get a ton of kills racked up right before these two episodes. I won't spoil too much, but I'm sure the title of episode 40 has given away something.
Yeah. I mean, look, we talked about it last time. You know what? You know what's going on.
Hayato clone. Hayato 2.
No spoilers!
Yeah, come on, Gopher.
Sorry, I know it's actually Hayato 3. I didn't mean to spoil.
How could you? Is what all these Shocker goons said when they were murdered.
Yeah.
Hayato racked up Hayato racked up 10 kills for episode 38. Shocker had 2. My poor Gakuran squad.
Oh no, Gakuran Squad.
Gakuran squad
Peach
goes. Never mind.
Rest in peace,
when-
Peach Fuzz Gakusei.
Oh, I miss them so much. But that gives us a total of 12 kills for episode 38. Episode 39, similarly, we had Hayato going a little nuts between another small sword fight. All things considered, he only killed 2 mooks in that sword fight, but with a helicopter explosion and a base explosion,
Ooh.
he racked up 13 kills with all of that put together.
Hayato, 2 explosions in 1 episode? You're spoiling us.
A little bit. It was a very Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I got you 17 pints of fascist blood.
Fascist blood,
Wow.
my favorite Christmas drink.
Yeah, I couldn't
Oh my god!
Sorry, I couldn't.
You should have.
Sorry, it's only 17. I couldn't salvage the rest of the 732.
Oh my god, it's such a coincidence. You know, I got you fascist skin for Christmas.
Fascist skin. I love it. What a wonderful
I
Christmas.
gave up my fascist bones to get you this fascist blood.
I was wondering how I could turn it into that story, and I
Yeah.
wasn't sure how.
You know,
The gift of
You
the
know?
right eye.
it's fine. I'll sew up the holes in the fascist skin and just have a blood bag.
Love a good blood bag.
Oh,
Aw,
we're gonna make a
disgusting.
waterbed.
Yeah.
Oh, you made it worse somehow.
Yeah, truly rough.
Mm. Don't worry, you put some Mod Podge on there. Seal the stink right
I'm
in.
just
Yeah.
picturing that fucking thing from Goofy movie. Just bouncing on it like that.
You can still see the faces.
Oh,
Ugh.
don't know how that works.
This
We
is getting
sewed the eye hole
grim.
shut.
The anguish
like-
forever sealed on their faces as we lie
Weirdly-
down atop the corpses.
Gopher and I get to have fun too, okay?
I'm okay. I just didn't expect it to be this dark.
This is what we love.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But speaking of things we love, Shocker also unfortunately got a kill for episode 39. We have dictated that the Wolfman kill of Igami's friend, the poor drunk friend with the glasses, goes to Shocker. That gives us a total of 14 kills for episode 39. So our totals for those episodes will be Kamen Rider with 23 kills for both episodes,
Woo.
giving Hayato a grand total score of 190 out of 242 kills for Team Kamen Rider.
Oh, Boise.
Shocker with a measly 3 kills, leaving them at a 117 total.
Pathetic.
Yeah, truly sad.
Yeah.
And we love that.
we adore that. No miscellaneous kills this time around, and that gives us 26 total kills for the 2 episodes, and brings us up to a total 383 kills as of episode 39.
We were so close.
Very, very close. Like, shockingly close. I know we were thinking, like, shockingly close.
Stop.
Oh.
Both of you quit it right now.
Like, I know we were kind of highballing it because there was a half decent chance with some of those spikes in the past that maybe we could get there, and that was pretty optimistic, frankly. But if I were to say like a realistic number, I suspected we would reach by episode 39. It wouldn't have been that close to 400.
Yeah, I mean, really. I'd like 16 kills shy. Basically, like 8 more kills per episode would have done it, which is not unreasonable for this show in the
It's
slightest.
not a whole lot.
I
It's
mean,
not-
hell, just considering today's episodes.
It's not insignificant. But I'm remembering those like 2 sets of episodes where there was only like 2 to 4 kills for both sides in total.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You
Those were
just
the
throw an
killers.
extra bus in there and it would have been
Yeah.
would have got it.
Oh, That bus was so annoying to count. I prefer.
Yeah, I
I
imagine.
prefer the bass explosions. I think.
Either one.
Yeah. God. The bass explosions haven't been too bad to count lately, though. They've been keeping it relatively small, and thank God for that. Sometimes it's really rough when there's like a big mook fight, and I have to account for all the mooks that are there, as well as the explosion. I know technically speaking, I think I've gone over this before, but technically speaking, if I wanted to be really lazy about it, I could just count heads and just be like, okay, there's like 15 guys there, so they're dead, but I have to account for who was killed in each scene, and how many are in the next scene, and how many of those could reasonably be the ones from the last scene, and try to make a much more accurate count.
Yeah, you gotta understand.
Yeah.
B-Drops is in depth with this death count. They don't fucking half-ass this in the slightest.
Not one shot. Not one.
I twy.
I
And
dare
just
say.
think.
I dare say they bought a full second ass to double ass.
Yeah, they absolutely are double-assing this. And you can get those double-assed notes if you subscribe to our Patreon. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
taking
right.
an opportunity to plug it.
Quadruple cheeked up on a Friday.
Damn, B-Drops. How come your mom lets you have 2 S's?
Well, I did really good on my report card.
Aw. That's adorable.
Good job on all those A's. Have another ass, kid.
Yahoo! I'm gonna be the envy of all my friends.
Oh, by the way, that's not a joke. I know we've joked about this a lot in the past, but we do actually have a Patreon now.
Yes.
Sincerely.
No, legitimately, yeah. That part was not a joke. That's why I said I was plugging it. Yeah, we've got a Patreon now. We'll probably talk about it more later on, like towards the end of the episode. But the point is, we've got a Patreon now. Give us money, and you can get stuff, including things like our notes for each episode while we're watching the episode, which those do include B-Drops' death count notes. So if you ever wanted to get like a vague idea of how does B-Drops calculate the death count, that'll be there. You can go look at it, and it's only $2 to look at those. What a steal!
Spoilers, it's by counting.
Yeah,
I'm gonna steal it.
Please don't steal our Patreon. You have your own.
It's true.
Yeah.
Speaking of stealing, let's talk about something that stole our hearts, which was this episode. We're gonna get right into it with episode 40, Deathmatch: The Monster Snowman versus 2 Riders. Original air date January 1st, 1972. It's the New Year's, y'all!
Yay!
Happy New Year! We did it. We I'm actually really this is kind of a big deal. We are officially 1 year through Kamen Rider. We've gone a whole year.
Did it start in January?
It didn't start. Yeah, we're not officially 1 year through because the show started in April, if I recall. I believe April 3rd was the
school years.
Yeah, school years.
We haven't graduated yet.
Yeah, we haven't graduated yet, but I just think it's neat to there aren't very many shows where I can be like, I've watched through like a whole year of history like this. Even though, like I said, with the lack of commercials or anything, there's some gaps that need to be filled in, but still, it's neat. At least I think it's neat. Maybe everybody else doesn't care, but I think it's
No,
neat.
I like it.
I think it's awesome.
You're boring. No.
I know, that's why I do this fucking podcast.
Oh
No!
Damn. Got us all.
Got you.
We appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate being appreciated.
I'm glad you appreciate being appreciated.
Speaking of appreciate, I'd appreciate if someone that wasn't me put goddamn synopsises on this goddamn wiki, but they didn't for either episode, so I had to do it again, which that's also something else you can get on the Patreon, if you are so inclined. That being said, let's get right into it. This episode 40, opens up by explaining to us what Switzerland is, which in hindsight makes sense, because if you are like a 6-year-old in Japan in 1972, you might not know what Switzerland is.
Yeah, no, that's fair, actually. Damn.
What the hell is a
That's
Switz?
Yeah.
Suisu.
Suisu. Yeah, so
I love it. They start the episode off with the big bold katakana on a map, and it says Suisu because that is Japanese for Switzerland, and
that's so good.
it amuses me endlessly.
We gotta visit with all the Suisujin.
Suisu.
But there is no Suisugo, so stop asking. It's a little Japanese gags for y'all. All right.
All right.
So,
Well,
shout outs to everybody in Japanese 101 right now.
yeah.
That shit's
Watashi wa
hilarious.
Suisujin.
Anyway. So yes, we are explaining Switzerland as a concept, and as we zoom in from the map of Switzerland into the Swiss Alps, we arrive at a, I guess it's probably like a hostel or something. I don't know. It kind of just looks like a big cabin connected to another building. I don't think they ever actually take a time to like explain what this location is, which makes sense because we're only there for a second. But the important thing is that there's two Japanese girls in here, and as they are talking with
Amidst
each
all
other,
the whites.
yeah, that's the other important thing is there's a bunch of white people here. But along these white people are two Japanese girls who, as they talk, we learn their names are Mika and Emi, and the other very important thing that is revealed about them is that they both know our very special guest for these 2 episodes. Don't think we forgot about it. Takeshi Hongo, he's getting name dropped because he's here. He's not here, but he's gonna show up. Yeah, he's not here at the cabin.
My notes read in order: Suisu and where's Hongo?
Yeah, that was
Where's Hongo?
that was
Where's
Are we there yet?
incredibly
Where's
the
Hongo?
energy.
It's like me in the first 20 minutes of Space Jam 2.
That's
Where's Bugs Bunny?
entirely fair.
Yeah, where's Bugs Bunny?
Yeah, I want to see him do
Whoa.
Big Chungus.
I just wanted to see him at all.
That's fair.
It takes him that long to appear, let alone be Big Chungus.
To be fair, he
It's
doesn't
insane.
he doesn't show up until like 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah,
into
no, it was
Space
half
Jam
an hour.
1.
I checked the timestamp because I was like, this is taking forever. Anyway, sorry, back to the Kamen Rider.
In,
Space Jam 2 sucks. All right.
Yeah,
in my
there you go.
notes, in order, in all caps, Hongo, and then second is, oh, we've got a new opening.
I think there was something about this episode. I think we all kind of, our brains turned off about taking notes until one of the girls said Hongo, and then we were like, oh, right, the episode's
No.
starting, we gotta... I know I went back and I retconned some notes that I probably would have written, so I've got New Year's in the Alps, and then White, and then New Rider
Yeah.
Girls,
Yeah.
and then Hongo name drop.
I have
Collectively wrote down white.
Oh, yeah.
white parentheses S with 2 exclamation points,
Yes.
and also big ass cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This girl, Titanic cards, we're gonna get into that.
They're like the size of your face.
Just the biggest. I was very surprised because I was just looking at the set and I was like, oh, she's just playing with those comically large cards. I guess that's fair. It's vacation time. It's fun or whatever. And then she was like, I'm gonna tell my New Year's fortune. And I was like, why would you choose to do fortune telling, A, with cards that big, and B, with like a deck of regular playing cards?
The deck of regular playing cards isn't unheard of. You can actually 1-to-1 go for the entire tarot deck with playing cards. It's,
Okay, now
it's
that
been
I've never
done.
heard of.
But also they aren't usually that huge.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Those were novelty cards.
yeah, exactly. I'm gonna do my fortune with the novelty playing cards.
I'm not to spoil anything, but I'm going to vaguely imply that part of the reason why they're so big might simply be so they're easily recognizable from more of a distance, because in the 70s, tiny, grainy TVs.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's true. Yeah, they do kind of justify themselves in fiction a little.
They
Yeah,
sure
I
do.
was-
In the way I don't think anybody expected.
I definitely wasn't expecting it. But we will get to that in a second. What we have to get to first is the fact that there's a rumble in the jungle, and by the jungle I mean the Swiss Alps, because a nearby eruption happens. And as that eruption happens, we get an avalanche that goes after. Avalanches cannot attack willingly. Anyway, this avalanche just fucking bears down on this cabin, and we get some footage of a string of similar eruptions across Switzerland.
Europe's blowing up.
Yeah.
Finally.
I really thought it was Hongo blowing up a secret shocker base at first. And
I
got
think we
excited.
all did.
Yeah.
Then I
but-
realized it's not it.
Yeah.
I just figured it was the Mount St. Helens Skookum.
No, not the
Back for
Mount,
revenge.
not the Mount St. Helens.
Or or dying again. I don't know.
Nah, could be either.
Rip.
But no, it is in fact revealed that this is the work of Shocker and the Shocker commander, Dr. Shinigami. Translated very lovingly as simply Dr. Death, which
Steve Williams, baby.
Yeah, Steve Williams, baby! Watch out.
JPW
Watch out for that
superstar.
fucking backdrop driver. He'll put you out on your ass.
Finally, a match for the Kamen Rider.
God,
Backdrop driver of death.
do you think in the 70s there was any kind of like all Japan Kamen Rider crossover where like they had a dude in a Kamen Rider suit go in against like fucking Antonio Inoki, or like Kamen Rider and Jushin Thunder Liger versus like fucking Vader and Ric Flair? Could you imagine that shit? I would love to see that.
I think Kamen Rider might predate like all of the most popular shit from HAPW.
That's fair. Still though, I want to see it. Who knows?
Yeah, I think the 80s was like the big surge.
Yeah, well, I
And,
know.
like, I don't think we don't have Jushin Thunder Liger without Kamen Rider.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's straight up.
Yeah,
He's a
that's,
tokusatsu man.
yeah, he was. That was a man who loved him some Toku. Shout out Jushin. Anyway, we got Dr. Shinigami. He reveals that he's got some plans. He wants to go to what he refers to as, quote, the biggest thorn in Shocker's side, which is Japan. He's gonna hit it with a couple of fucking explosions as well. Because that is apparently this dude's bag.
Not
That's
just any explosions.
volcanic explosions.
It's been working in
Yeah.
Europe.
Mm.
He's gonna hit a chain reaction of volcanoes.
Yeah.
Just blow up all of Japan.
He's
'cause
just
fuck
gonna
it, why
nuke
not?
it. He's gonna fucking... What's that movie? Isn't there a movie about something like that? One of them doomsday natural disaster movies?
Throwing a bomb in a
I
volcano.
imagine.
2000.
No, about just like a bunch of volcanic chain reactions happening at the same time.
Oh,
I feel like that was one, but I don't remember.
I only
sounds
remember
like
the
something
two
that-
volcano movies.
There's
Yeah.
too many volcano movies.
Too many stop putting volcanoes in your movies, and stop putting movies in your volcanoes. It's what makes them blow
Aftershock
up.
coming soon.
Uh,
Grandma's insulin will never get there.
No!
well, there's a. It could be called chain reaction. Could
Yeah.
be called volcano,
Uh-huh.
or it could be day after tomorrow.
Could. Or it could be that movie about Mount St. Helens that I don't remember the name of.
Isn't that Dante's Peak?
Yes, you
Yeah,
are
that's-
absolutely correct. Thank you.
Yeah, Dante's Peak and Volcano were the ones that like came out like at the same time. It was just like, oh, there's two volcano movies this year? Sure.
Alright, sure.
There's gonna be two meteor movies next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever you do, don't look back. There
At
you
the-
go.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's,
It's the tagline.
Yeah.
Yes.
Weird tagline. Anyway, a fucking grunt comes in as, Dr.
Also, wait, hold
go
on.
ahead.
Oh, sorry to. This is an on-topic interruption.
That's fair.
describe Dr. Death for our audience in case they haven't watched the episode yet.
Dracula.
Please.
I mean, yeah, truly, you know when it's Halloween time, and so the whole family gets dressed up to give out candy to the kids, and Grandpa decides this year he's going to be Dracula, but also he's probably not going to put that much effort into it. Bam. Dr. Death.
Slapped on a little bit of paint on his face,
Yep.
like whatever.
Yeah. He got some green eyeshadow to smudge around to look like veins.
Hair looks like trash.
He only had time
this
for
man's
one
toupee
thing.
sucks.
Also, I guess he's just the grandpa from the Munsters, right?
It's definitely
just
that
kind of what he
outfit.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just in the fucking like Bela Lugosi Dracula uniform.
Yeah, it is the
The cowl.
quintessential. Yeah, the absolute
some
state
kind
of
of-
Dracula.
He's got some kind of like baton that he likes to.
Yeah,
wave at
his
people?
weird. Maybe it's like
or
a
a microphone.
walking
I don't
stick
know
or
what
a
the hell
cane.
it is.
He's got a
It's a
thingy.
stick of some kind.
Him got stick.
He gesticulates with it.
Yeah. I will say it was interesting because B mentions those lines that he has on his face, and it's like it seems kind of like when they did the line makeup on the one plant woman monster to make her look old, except for the
yeah.
fact
Little
that this dude's like kinda old already, so that's just not really needed. It was just
Splotch it on him.
yeah, it was just weird to look at this dude. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not it is not the level of costuming that we are used to in Kamen Rider, but to be fair, we are talking as if Zol didn't just show up in like a Party City Nazi uniform.
Yeah, I remember I was reading up on the background of Zol
Hmm.
after he exploded
Yeah.
last episode, and he is in a Party City Nazi uniform because he is in canon supposed to be wearing a Nazi uniform, not even a shocker uniform.
Oh, wow.
He just loved being a Nazi so much that he kept his uniform
What?
and wore it all the time.
What a fucking
Ooh.
guy.
What a guy. Yeah.
Fucking Westabu Nazi Colonel Zol.
Yeah, it's like he's Japanese.
Yeah, like bro, wrong army, my dude.
He's just like, I want to hang with these guys.
This Hitler guy is spitting.
Patooey.
Rise up, my brothers and sisters.
Jesus Christ.
My notes read Dracula destroy the Europe.
Yeah, he's done it. Finally, he is rid of those Europeans.
One country.
Now
Country.
Soon I will
He's
destroy
going for the double.
two countries. And
I love Grandpa Dracula. He
He's
is
kind of delightful,
It's-
he
honestly.
is
very
a-
good.
Every time he is on screen, I am just filled with glee so far. Like, Colonel Zol appears and we're like, dumbass Nazi with the eye patch. But it's like, this man is a Dracula, and we just gotta watch him do his thing and command armies.
it's
I gotta
very good.
admit, the main things that I found unironically enjoyable about Zol that didn't actually come up all that much. Well, I guess one of them was constant. One is that he kind of has a little bit of a lisp. I don't know, I just thought that was fun. And two, he just has a riding crop 24/7.
That part was
Like,
fun.
Yeah,
my bro is out and proud about that, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone in Shocker was out and proud, it was Colonel Zol.
Yeah.
The blue wings at the Christmas party. I still think about
Girl
his makeup.
slaying.
Oh,
His-
man, I
His
forgot about
fingernails, just like growing them out.
You
That's
forgot
right.
about the
Mm.
wingtips? How could you forget?
I almost forgot about the wingtips.
Can't. For me, it was just Colonel Zol made some of the best facial expressions that we got in the show. Some of the faces that came out of this man were stellar. But unfortunately, he's dead now, and we have to continue.
Thank God.
He turned into a wolf and died.
Yeah. Which,
I
I mean...
wouldn't
wolf with
say
two
it.
eyes.
I really wouldn't say unfortunately, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dude,
We don't get.
Honestly-
He doesn't get to entertain us anymore.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
But boy, did he get a replacement.
He got a hell of a replacement, yeah.
We also brought back
Worth it.
shocker diagrams.
We did,
Yes.
yeah. We got a shocker map of Shocker Japan.
Beautiful diagram this time. Very stylish. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
that Fasci statue is like, Dracula, how do you intend to conquer Japan? And he's like, I am glad you asked. If you would look at my diagram, and it's got like all this beautiful cursive on it, and it's kind of, compared to the other diagrams, more minimalist. Like, it's got silhouettes of countries instead of like more realistic geographical, like colored topographical information craps.
Mhm.
It's just, it's very clean, but it has these big ass arrows.
Love when my fucking map has
Here.
big ass arrows.
Also the Shocker emblem, I don't know if this is Shocker Europe specific like logo that they have at the top. It's got all these like beautiful like embellishments. It kind of vines and curls out under the eagle.
Oh, yeah.
We got spruced up.
It's the fancy one.
Dracula has taste. Oh, he also
We
also
know
has a
this.
wine glass. I forgot. We have to mention that he's holding a wine glass as he
What is
goes
that?
to the diagram. Or it quote wine glass. He has a glass full of something. Something red.
Oh, yeah. Because we were having a toast to the success of Shocker's test, but I cut that out of the synopsis thing I wrote because I was like, I don't know if I need to put that in.
The toast is
Fool.
less important than just the aesthetic of Dracula approaching a whiteboard and demonstrating his tactical genius.
Wine glass in hand. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That is very incredibly fair. Now that I think we've gotten all of our Dracula talk squeezed out of us,
No.
Never.
We won't.
Yeah, that's
no.
fair.
He keeps appearing in the episodes.
No,
so.
Christopher. Christopher.
that's true.
I'm
Oh,
going to
God.
kill these two women.
Stop.
We were doing this during the point where we edited it out. For
Anyway, a goddamn Shocker grunt comes in
yeah.
and he says that their plans for their Japanese attack have been stolen. Obviously, Dracula is like, go find the plans, get them back. And we cut to a scene where we see those girls that we were talking about earlier, old Mika and Emmy, and they're kind of just running out into a field when they are assaulted by a group of Shocker goons. The Shocker goons are
So,
oh, go ahead.
I guess they survived the avalanche
Yeah.
because, which is wild because the footage of that avalanche, it was basically like one of those shots of like a house being destroyed by a nuclear plant.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
It was just boom, just out of there. And they got out in time, I guess.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it's fine. Well, I mean,
Now they're assaulted by Nazis.
I guess this is a good transition, because when they are attacked by these Nazis, we find out that these girls are a bit more capable than we maybe initially thought they were going to be, because the girls fight back. Our
And one of them
girl
is
Mika
Gambit.
our girl Mika with the big ass cards murks two dudes by throwing big cards at them.
It's wonderful.
It's
Just go right into their throats.
yeah.
It's like, ah!
We're really just not used to any lasting show of competency from women in the writing of this show, so I do hope this lasts.
Well, I have a
Yeah.
feeling
2 episodes.
that they are going to go. Well, yeah, one, it didn't really last 2 episodes. 2, I have a feeling that they are going to go the way of another female character in this show, which we need to go ahead and break some bad news, don't we, folks?
Which one?
Yeah, do we?
I guess let's do both of them, huh?
I-
Well,
I
because there
guess-
was one that we were expecting to see at this point in the show, who
I think maybe should we proceed until another character we were expecting to see does do something, and then we can comment on that. Because that happens right now.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
We can save that for the rest.
We'll save it for a bit. So the girls fight off, those shocker grunts, and then they are inevitably rescued by our good friend's Kamen Rider, and we can tell by the different outfit that this is the original Kamen Rider. Takeshi Hongo is back, baby.
I missed him so
Goodness.
much.
There was much rejoicing when we finally got to see Hongo again for just so long. It's been so long since we saw
1
Hongo.
week since you.
No.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
Activate some sleeping part of my brain.
No, I'm right there. I'm right there with you.
This is episode. What episode are we on?
Episode
40.
40. Okay, so it's
His
been
last episode was
37
14?
or 27 episodes. 13.
Yeah, he left on episode 13. So yeah,
Yeah,
13.
it's been 27 episodes. since we've
27
seen this man.
episodes.
27 weeks without Kamen Rider
Ugh.
in real time back then. Or
Yeah,
without Hongo, sorry. We had Kamen Rider.
yeah, we had Kamen Rider, but we didn't have Hongo. I'm so happy he's back. I'm just so legitimately happy he's back. Hongo, he shows up. He does the thing where he loves to murder Nazis.
Yay!
Love him.
The crowd goes wild.
Yeah. And so because of that,
classics.
the two girls are able to escape on his motorcycle, and Hongo, he squares off with our big bad of the episode, who I don't think we had we seen his mural yet? Do we see his mural when we first go to the Shocker base?
I think
I
we see
don't-
it now.
I don't think we see it until after he returns to the Shocker base.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, our big bad for the episode is the snowman, and I think we should take a moment to talk about the way old snowman looks.
He's a Yeti.
Yeah,
I think Shakes had a really good explanation for the head.
his, oh yeah,
So I think the rest of the snowman is safely to be described as just a Yeti costume.
yeah.
He's big, bulky, white fur, gray skin. His head. Do you know those like little like squeaky hammers? Like, they kind of got that like accordion structure.
Mm-hmm.
His head is basically one of those, but
Yep.
gray.
Yep.
It's interesting. I think from a design standpoint, it's really interesting. It kind of separates it from like, oh, we took a mythical creature to, oh, this is like a as stated, an engineered Yeti.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yetis are canon.
Yetis are real and can be turned into cyborgs.
Yeah. I remember my note for this after seeing how he described himself. I just wrote down, got him in the modified Himalayan Yeti. He's gonna tap.
Yeah.
He's gonna tap.
It's just wild, the implication there.
Yeah.
But I think from a design standpoint, it's interesting because I think what they're going for was like a helmet kind of look.
Yeah.
Like slats in a helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Because the mural, which we see at some point after, I do have in my notes, and this is definitely like in the middle or right before the fight, we do get that shot of Grandpa Dracula watching his stories.
Yeah.
He's watching the TV that's just flashing like a million different colors at him. Yeah, and he looks like he's got the superstar. He's going nuts. But the Yeti base, the base mural of the Yeti does seem to imply that there would be in one of those slats eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
not in the costume.
I am inclined to agree with you, especially more after getting a chance to, sometimes I don't know where my brain went on that one for a second. We will look up, pictures of the actual monsters in order to kind of better be able to describe them, which means that will usually include a picture of toys of the monster in question, and getting a chance to actually look at these toys, I think that kind of notion of maybe this is supposed to be a helmet is a little more visually clear versus
Ooh, yeah.
in the actual episode. It's a neat look, honestly.
It's very unique.
Yeah, very, very unique look. The actual, like, the in media res costume itself is actually pretty good looking. Just like in general. I mean, it's pretty simple, but I think that's why it's so effective. It's kind of just like a bunch of white hair on top of a gray suit, but I mean, it's not bad looking in the slightest.
And the booties.
Yeah, and the booties.
And he's got
Little booties.
Also,
Little black shocker issued standard booties.
realizing now, looking at the toy and also at an image of him in the episode, this is another shocker monster that for whatever reason is not a champion.
There's a separate image of him with it.
Is there?
Interesting.
Yeah, I just found it.
Oh
There
yeah,
it is,
there's
with
his
the
title
belt.
belt. Yeah,
I
but
wonder if
Felt like
that's like
dressing up for the day.
behind the scenes shot, and they were like, maybe that was like the one time where it was like, maybe we don't need the division in this.
yeah, maybe. Because yeah, in the episode he
Maybe.
just does not have his championship belt.
No, he's never wearing it.
Huh. And correct me if I'm wrong, but
Wild
Ghoster
stuff.
does have the belt, doesn't he?
Pretty sure.
Let's
I
check
can't
real
remember
quick.
anymore. I have no
Yeah.
memory.
Nope,
I just
wrong.
remember his fleshiness.
Let's try Goaster. Since spelling it the way that it's spelled in the Japanese got me the wrong Kamen Rider.
That is just getting an entirely different Kamen Rider, ain't it?
Well, this image here has him with a belt, and is also like the only one I could find of him, weirdly. So we are going to assume he has
He's
a belt
best forgotten.
until proven otherwise. And with that, let us continue. So yeah, Kamen Rider, he is fighting this big old snowman. Grandpa's watching on the boob tube.
He's so into it.
He's super into it. So he attempts to defeat old snowman with a big old rider kick, like Kamen Rider do.
Yeah.
But his attempts to defeat him are rebuffed. He gets bounced off that powerful snowman chest, I guess. And kind of just lands in a nearby
Flex.
ditch.
I mean,
That's-
and,
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm just remembering it.
Yeah,
It's
no,
very
it's-
funny. He just like boing,
Yeah.
and gets off
Yeah,
of him.
and then he explodes.
Does
I
he
forget.
explode?
Did he
Yeah.
explode from just being rebuffed, or did he throw a rock at him?
I think
They
probably
do.
it's more likely that the Yeti
Or-
threw a rock at him because
Or
this
chucked
dude
him
was
off a cliff or
Let's
something?
this
see,
dude
they're-
was
they're-
chucking rocks
They're
this
tussling,
episode.
falls. Nope, he just explodes from being thrown off.
Oh, cool! I love it when I just explode.
Your rider kicked so hard, and he got perfect parried, and it all converted back to all the energy back into Kamen Rider, and he just blew up.
Just McFucking exploded. Look, sometimes you just McFucking
Rest
explode.
in pieces,
Or,
Hongo.
well, sorry, I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
Oh.
He's still very much rest in pieces, Hongo, but the Yeti does a wrestling move that I am not.
Oh yeah,
No,
he does
yeah,
the
he
fireman's
hits
carry
him.
takeover.
Yeah, he hits him with that fireman's carry, and then
Yeah,
and then he
that's-
chucks him off a volcano,
And then he explodes.
And then he explodes.
and then and then he dies.
And then you blow up.
Yeah, the fireman's carry part is very important.
And the Yeti just kind of, if I'm recalling correctly, he just goes like, "Well, great," and
Yep.
leaves.
Yeah, I've done it. I've won.
To which Hongo de-transforms
Yep.
fully in his suit.
Yeah, of course.
He's
What else
just
would
in
he be?
his suit and tie, and just kind of gets up and just like brushes off his shoulders.
Yeah.
And leaves.
And he's
His
like,
fucking Dusty Rhodes tie.
yeah. I remember when he pointed that out, I specifically went ahead and wrote down the note. Where did I put that note? Yeah, I wrote down the note, tie of a son of a plumber.
Or the American Dream, Takeshi Hongo.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, so Hongo, having been bested, realizes that he's not going to be able to defeat the Yeti by himself. I get you with that one?
Yeah.
That's good. I hope Wordsy also appreciates that one.
The yeti.
The yeti!
The fucking yeti!
One more wrestling joke for the road.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry,
there
folks.
it is. I don't believe you.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
gotta
I
be
don't,
more.
I don't believe you for a second.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Anyway.
Happy Halloween.
Filthy liars.
Oh. Anyway.
Well, you're not filthy. I'm sure you're very clean.
Nah.
I could use a shower.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been a couple of days.
Then you're a filthy liar.
Ah!
Cut down in the prime of my youth.
There was one more thing that I wanted to comment
Oh,
on before
please.
we moved on from this scene, and it's that Hongo's bike is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good enough for 3.
It's a 3-seater bike. Him and his ladies can fit on. It's wild to see all 3 of them just parked comfortably on is this still the it's still the Cyclone.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why for a second I was like, does Hayato's bike have its own name, or are they both just the Cyclone?
Yeah, I believe they are both called the Cyclone, and specifically, Hongo's is the Cyclone 1, and Hayato's is the Cyclone 2.
Yeah, we didn't really get separate branding for them.
Well,
That's fair.
they barely have separate suits. There's like
Yeah.
one visual element differentiating them. Which I will say,
when side by side, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the new rider design is definitely what stood the test of time.
mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
pretty certain.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I think they sort of kept the Hongo design for him in future stuff that I've seen and sort of adapted it, but like when people think OG Kamen Rider, I think if had to draw him from memory, they would draw Hayato.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's very
I
fair.
understand why.
I mean, even
That's
on
'cause-
Shout Factory, he's like the banner for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Hayato
a
actually
more-
takes his suit to the dry cleaners, and Hongo's has been colored a darkened forest green with all the blood stains.
Mhm.
He revels in it.
He really does.
The darker the
Uh,
suit gets, the more of a trophy it becomes.
Oh,
Love it.
Takeshi Estinian.
Yes.
Oh, wait. I guess it's literally the same.
Yeah.
No, it's the
Yeah.
same.
You gotta live
just-
with that now.
But yeah.
Hongo, don't touch the eyeball.
Yeah.
It's too late,
Listen,
I already
I
touched his
enjoy-
eyeball.
I
That's all
enjoy
you
the
needed to tell me.
slaughter. I enjoy the slaughter of this tyrannical fascist regime more so than the slaughter of dragons.
Yeah.
You know, fair. Very fair. I will say, just because, like, you know, spoilers, not spoilers, obviously we're going to get shots of the 2 Kamen Rider suits next to each other. They look good next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I will say more so because I got a chance to, when you brought that up, I got a chance to kind of look at sort of the quote-unquote revised suits next to each other. Wherein they kind of unify the design philosophy a little bit, right? And it's like some more like kind of slightly subtle things that differentiate which one is Ichigo and which one is Hayato. And I don't personally think it actually looks quite as good as just like that big stark contrast between Hongo having just a one generally darker suit, but you know, in being in just like pretty much the all black, whereas you know Hayato's got that white trim going for him. There's just something about it that like really looks good side by side. I don't know if we'll try to hunt down like a screenshot in episode for y'all to check out, or if we'll just be like, go watch the fucking show, because
When
like
you
really you should be watching the show.
when you say, you know, later unifications of it, are you talking about still in Ichigo or specifically like say the movie that covers Ichigo stuff?
You know, so the part of the issue is that I don't actually know when it happens. The specific image that I'm actually referencing was from a tweet that the Kamen Rider like official Twitter put out that had an image that just so happened to have all of like starting from Ichigo and going forward to every single Kamen Rider. And so obviously like the first 2 writers right next to each other are Hongo and Ichigo. And so like I was able to just kind of look at their modern designs, as it were, next to each other, and it's just kind of it is interesting to see them looking kind of more like each other, and how that kind of, at least in my own personal opinion, that kind of looks worse compared to where there is like a very stark contrast between like, oh, that one is very clearly Hongo and that one is very clearly Hayato.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think I agree on that point.
Like
And it just works better for your eyes.
Yeah.
Just to have them distinct.
I do really like the suit changes in the movie, though. It looks far more bug like, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not the
Big fan of
first.
bug.
Yeah, no. These are I don't know exactly when these visual changes happened, but I know, there was a point where they were like, let's make Ichigo and Hayato look, or Ichigo and Nigo look a little more like each other, so people can know that they're like from the same show.
For listeners,
Right.
Usually with how you see it in this episode, it is the darker, and then the thing that distinguishes in this image that we're referring to now is mostly just red gloves versus silver gloves.
Yeah, Hayato has red gloves and is obviously doing his Kamen Rider 2 pose, and Hongo has silver gloves and is doing his one pose. And yeah, I know it's just not quite, because I think the white on
Just
Hayato's
not right.
suit is like striking, especially when compared to Hongo's suit being darker and kind of just like being all black except for the green accents. Like the white really makes Hayato's suit kind of pop.
Yeah.
I agree that I think Hayato's design overall is better than Hongo's redesign, because Hongo's redesign is just honestly it's a I don't want to say it's less well put together, but they color swapped just a couple things with colors that were already in the palette in ways that only muted them further. Like you said, the white pops really nicely on Hayato because that is definitively his accent color. Like in order of volume, he has green, red, black, white. Whereas with Hongo, it's like the white and silver are difficult to distinguish. And in some ways that's good because it works the same way with Hayato. But he looks more like the sidekick.
Yeah.
This way.
A little bit.
Which maybe is intentional, just kind of based off of, we'll get into it as we talk about these episodes, but
I think I understand why this was a particularly weird case and they hadn't entirely figured out how they were doing this, and they had to sub in like an entirely new actor for a new character to replace their original one for a while, and then he comes back and now you have to figure out how you're going to consolidate everything that you've had to make to fix that last problem. But now it's like someone definitively has to change now if you're going to have both.
Yeah.
Or they're going to look very similar. And clearly they opted for they're going to look very similar option instead. But I think the show would have benefited greatly if Hongo got his own identifying color, because it's not like Hongo didn't have these colors before, but Hayato really just kind of stole red as his highlight color.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been great for Hongo if he got just one color, something that wasn't red. He could keep the black, green, and white, and instead of red, he needs a different color, and it would make him pop. It would make him look a little less of a side character. If you wanted, you could swap the green out for a different color so that there's a little more harmony between whatever identifying color you'd want to give him between the two of them. I don't know. just throwing some ideas out there, but
also with the redesign, it loses something that I noticed on the just originals, as we see in this episode, is you see this darker suit. It looks a lot more menacing.
Yeah.
Which I feel like
definitely
that thematically works a lot with who Hongo is and how he's like, I'm just going to go halfway across the world and fight Chakra with my bare hands. And then you see him in his, nearly like his dark green, almost black suit, and he just starts punching. And I think that's really, like, it works really well for his character, and it's not so much with the white gloves.
Yeah, another thing I wanted to say, because V kind of commented on visual clarity, and looking at like the image of all of the revised, the 2 revised suits and all the other suits, visual clarity is something that is very clear in most other Kamen writers. Like, no 2 other writers really look the same. The closest that you get to is like Zo and I think Joe or J.O. I think they're called, like 2 of the 90s movie writers who, like, clearly they're, the person whose movie came second, their suit is based off of the person whose movie came first. But there is still enough, like, visual elements about, like, the helmet being a little bit slimmer, there being different colors on the armor not quite having as much line detailing on it, and everything, that you can very easily, like, tell these 2 apart at a glance. Maybe if you weren't if you had to go off of like a silhouette, you couldn't do it. But if you actually get to look full frontal at these 2 in color, you can like really easily like, oh, that's so and so, that's so and so, and that's not as easy with the remade V1 and V2 suits, since they look so similar. But I do feel like it is a little bit easier with the old ones. Just because I mean, again, you run into that issue of if you're going to look at 2 silhouettes, maybe you can't quite tell V1 from V2 unless they're in their respective poses. But again, being able to look at them in color, it's a lot easier to be able to tell who is who with the old suits. Whereas this one, it kind of like, I am more so banking on like poses and glove color to tell me who's whom, which like seems suboptimal, especially when you have so many other like Kamen writers that look like such a far cry between each other, especially when you start getting into the Heisei era writers, where I mean they really just, they are like, what can we do that's different, what can we do that's unique? And so you've got Kamen writers that almost look like they aren't even from the same property because they're like so different looking. I don't know, it's just like, I think it's actually disappointing too, because looking at some of the other earlier ones like V3 and Rider Man and like Skyrider, you can see where they like pay homage to elements of the original Kamen Rider suits, but they are still able to like make them their own thing. And it's just kind of disappointing to see the 2 suits that kind of formed the basis of this 50-year legacy be so like underwhelming visually, almost a little bit.
Yeah. It hurts a little to say. Granted, I know this is still, they're figuring it out for the very first time, so it was definitely new and strange territory. But not even considering the whole, we had to get new actor to play new character after our last one left and is now coming back thing.
I think that's kind of a big part of the issue, though, is it seemed like they had a better grip on the situation with the old designs than they did with the new ones.
I think it's not necessarily worse. I understand and totally agree that Hongo's original, darker, more menacing design is what I lean towards if I wanted them to pick a direction where they wanted to take his specific designs. But I understand that the show itself has gotten a lot more kid-friendly. We've clearly seen it take a much harder direction towards appealing towards younger children and opening up opportunities for merchandising and branding, and I think less than having a dark, cool hero, Kamen Rider had officially at this point decided that they wanted a very bright hero for younger kids. Something more digestible than early episodes 1 to 3 Hongo. Which, it can be a bit of a shame, but yeah.
I wonder if that's specifically a product of when those redesigns were made. Because there was something that actually occurred to me as you were saying that, talking about how, like, Hongo was a little bit more of a dark, kind of more mature hero. And then when I was looking at the revised suit from the first Kamen Rider movie that was, like, I want to say it's like 2006, 2005, something around that time frame. The one that Gopher posted. It made me think of one of my personal favorite interpretations of Hongo's suit, which is the 2016 Kamen Rider Ichigo movie, which I posted in the chat. It leans in hard on that fucking
I was referencing
dark.
that one earlier.
It does.
Yeah.
They agreed with our sensibilities for certain on this one.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, is they kind of saw Ichigo as we see him as a writer. And so it's interesting to me. It makes me wonder at what point, as like a company and as a franchise, did these specific redesigns happen, that they kind of went with this kind of brighter, more kid-friendly, design philosophy, like you were saying, B, because it seems like throughout the rest of the entirety of Kamen Rider as an interpretation, when they want to redesign the Ichigo suit, they are very content with going with that kind of very dark, very gritty, like, here is a guy who wears dark colors except for, like, green and red, and he's gonna stomp into your house and he's gonna fuck up your shit.
I can only assume that this was a decision made with better judgment in hindsight, whereas at the time, maybe they were just trying to consolidate their appeal, basically, with the brighter, more younger audience designed Hayato. They thought, we'll fit Hongo into this, and in hindsight, only later on, as other creators who fell in love with Kamen Rider came to work on Kamen Rider and got to work with these characters, got to work with writing for Hongo, they were like, we should bring that back.
Yeah.
Maybe that was not a great choice. Maybe that's why everybody does that now.
Yeah, it's very possible. That kind of it was just a matter of they were kind of making a corporate decision for corporate sake, and then later on other people got to go in and get their their grubby little mitts on Kamen Rider, as it were, and sort of like us, they were like, well, here's how I remember Hongo. He's he's this fucking dark colored wearing badass evil motherfucker who goes around and destroys Nazis.
So the cure's in your body.
Like, I've made jokes about it, but I really do think there are similarities between Doom Guy and Hongo.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if like later interpretations of Doom Guy were at all inspired by Kamen Rider.
God,
I mean,
love it.
like, so many things have been super inspired by Kamen Rider. It is prolific.
Yeah.
It is, like, Kamen Rider's up there with, like, I don't know, what's other...
Ultraman.
Is it fair to compare it to things like, I was going to say, like, Berserk and...
I think
I don't
so.
know about Pokemon.
Fair.
I think
but
absolutely.
I think Berserk is fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's Kamen Rider is one of those. I think actually the
Kamen
Berserk
Rider is the
pull
Berserk
is
of Tokusatsu.
particularly apt, because I think Kamen Rider is one of those things where if you don't know about Kamen Rider, you don't see it influencing the stuff you watch. But then once you figure out about Kamen Rider, like once you watch a Kamen Rider and you kind of get what the show is about, you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's what all that shit was.
Everything makes sense
Right,
now.
yeah, it's very much so a light turning on in your head, and I think it's the same with Berserk. There's a lot of things where, like, you wouldn't recognize a Berserk reference or a Berserk influence if you didn't know Berserk, but once you have seen
Yeah.
Berserk, you start picking up on them very easily.
Oh,
Yeah, you don't have your Cloud Strifes or your Dark Knights or whatever.
Right.
That was that all originated with
Mhm.
Guts, the prototype guy with the big sword.
Berserk Man Longsword.
yeah.
Berserk Man Longsword.
1
Man
hour
Longsword.
10-hour
Um,
edition.
I don't really have as much comment on the suit discussion because I think everybody pretty much covered the points.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But I think to a similar vein on what we were talking about with that, and them kind of being in the thick of it and making this episode weekly. Like, it is very clear that they're making these episodes weekly.
Yes.
It's incredibly unique, and I think it is making it fall prey to like a million different things that I think if we were in any modern TV show, let alone a modern Kamen Rider, they would be unforgivable. Like the constant disappearing of actors and characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the weird suit decisions that were inconsistent, and they were like, oh, we gotta make this into more like the other one now. The tonal shift from episode 3 to episode 4, and then harder in after episode 13. Just like stuff like that, like people would shit on that today.
Yeah.
Like, I think we collectively are enjoying ourselves and have that kind of understanding that this is one hell of a rough production that was finding its feet because it's establishing the entire franchise going forward. But boy, at some points I'm like, part of me is like, wow, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know that this became a huge franchise at times.
Yeah.
Because it sure is rough sometimes.
Yeah,
the decisions they make.
There are definitely some points watching, especially this early on stuff, where it's like, damn, it's kind of hard to believe that this show lasted 98 episodes, that like some TV station ordered 98 episodes of this, because not always.
I guess
It's
and I guess against my own point, people were watching.
Yeah.
I don't think people gave a shit.
probably
The kids were like, hell yeah, superheroes. It's like, we're the dumb, sweaty nerds who are like, where's Ruriko?
To be fair, as a child, the only thing I think I really would have cared about was Kamen Riders coming and going. Like, as an adult, I definitely care about all the other characters, but as a kid, I would have been like, where's Hongo? Why is he going to Europe? Who is this guy? I guess he's okay. And then
You
Hongo
forget
comes
about
back.
him.
Yeah. Hongo comes back, and I'm happy, and...
Wow, 2 Kamen Riders.
Wow, your mom let you have 2 whole Kamen Riders?
yeah. Well,
I have to admit, like, I not going to lie. So, like, I kind of go through this sort of experience a lot these past few years. Not quite to the extent of, Kamen Rider. Like, there aren't lots of, like, characters suddenly disappearing without ever being mentioned or explained or whatever. But going through, like, a lot of media from my childhood or media from slightly before my childhood these past few years, just like for nostalgia's sake, or because like, oh, I never got to watch all of it because I only saw it on TV.
right.
And it's wild that some of it just sucks. And, like, no matter how much you loved it, no matter how prolific it was at the time, some of it just sucks so bad. And it's weird to think, like, oh my god, when I was a kid, this was like my thing. I loved this. What's wrong with me?
It's the rose-colored glasses of youth.
I guess so. I mean, as a kid, it
Children
only
are
really
stupid.
matters if it feels cool. And I can't help but think, as someone who still enjoys a lot of, like, cartoons today, the standards that people have for making children's entertainment are so different. Like, so many kid shows these days have
Right?
these like overarching plots and incredible attention paid to every amount of continuity. Every little thing is so carefully constructed, and I'm like, oh my god, like, would I have liked this as a kid? I don't know. Would I have been too stupid for this as a kid? I don't know. This is awesome, though, and nothing I watched as a kid was like this. Like, the first experience I remember having watching, like, a show with a long-term continuity that actually mattered from episode to episode was probably Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that was kind of like a mind-blowing experience to me as a little kid, but,
Yeah.
like...
Mine was probably
That-
Digimon.
That's fair. A lot of anime were like
Yeah,
that,
that's-
but I
I think
Okay.
it's largely about what you watched, because that was I will
I
say
I guess
That's-
yeah,
As-
anime did kind of do
as
that.
as a tiny little weeb growing up, I've mentioned about watching Toonami when I was a kid and
No, yeah.
watching Adult Swim anime with my parents. I think I was exposed to that sort of thing a little bit more.
I actually have an earlier non-anime example
Oh, his with
of
it.
my first exposure to that, and that was Reboot.
Yes,
Oh,
Reboot.
yeah,
I forgot
gotta
about
watch
Reboot.
that. Goddamn.
Reboot went all in on having a plot.
Yeah, Reboot had a
and,
fucking
and
plot.
character arcs and
I've-
fucking time skip, like
Yeah.
character development, drastic character design changes.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to try that one out because I've heard the writing actually holds up. Like, the visuals, obviously
Not
not,
so
but
much.
I've heard the writing holds up really well.
Watch
Reboot,
Reboot
Reboot
with
is
me,
absolutely one I would want
I do
to
want
revisit.
to. I want to rewatch Reboot.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
But in any case, I don't know. I don't know how much of it is that standards for children's entertainment have changed over time, and that even kids uphold these standards, or I don't know how much of it is just I don't how much of it is kids actually caring about these standards getting better, or how much of it is them just being like, I don't care so long as there's cool stuff.
I actually think a
I-
lot
I-
of it is probably the creators. I think it is
Yeah.
specifically the people who kind of like us had these shows that were kind of groundbreaking and revolutionary to them that they grew up with, and like because
Well,
of those experiences deciding like they wanted to make stuff like that as well, but they wanted to as they kind of learn that craft and grow, they get to be able to like us have that lens of clarity where they go back and go, oh, here's like a bunch of shit that this show that I loved did wrong that I can just make sure I do right on my show.
No, I totally agree that's why it's made that way, but what is the determining matter of success? Is it simply because it has cool things, or do children actually care about this increase in quality? Do children actually follow along and appreciate, like, more consistent, overarching narratives with more depth given to their characters?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
hard
actually
to say because I guess did we when because we have notable examples.
it's
and it
'Cause
blew
that-
our minds back then.
It depends on my age, honestly, because
I guess so.
Mhm.
I'm thinking of myself around, like, the age of which I think Kamen Rider's target demographic is as of these episodes, which is, I think, a lot lower than what it was for those first couple
Probably.
episodes. Which, I don't know, is it fair to say that's around, like, 10 years old, somewhere
Yeah,
around there?
I think that's entirely fair.
In that range.
I think I would barely care, but not that much. Like, I don't think I'm quite at the point where character arcs mean much to me, so much as, like, I want to see characters do cool things, and I want them to have strong characterization. Like, I want to know what their personalities are, but I don't know if I was at a point where I cared about seeing them develop into anything else.
That's fair.
Which, like, I'm not to say kids these days at that age wouldn't. I just, I might have been too stupid, is all I'm saying. I might have been too stupid of a small child to really appreciate the nuance.
It's definitely one of the. It's weird to kind of try and think about those sorts of things as you would have back then, because you probably just weren't thinking about it back then. So you don't really have any memories of being like, oh, here's how I thought about that situation, because you probably just you didn't really think about it at the time. So you don't really have like you can kind of only think about it in hindsight. I do think that there is a degree to which you need to, or I don't know if need is necessarily the correct word, but should respect the intelligence of children. I think there is there's agreed. Don't go too hog wild with it, but also don't treat your audience like they aren't going to care, because I think you would be surprised to find the number of people who actually do care, even in audiences at that younger age. I mean, the only real benchmark I have for success, at least in regards to our main subject matter for the show's Kamen Rider, I can't really
remember Kamen Rider.
Yeah, remember Kamen Rider. To be fair, we are still kind of talking about it. I don't have a lot of frame of reference for some of the stuff from the 70s and 80s, but I've been watching through Kuga, which is the first Kamen Rider of the Heisei era, which came out in the year 2000, and I've obviously watched through a bunch of the other Heisei era writers, and they feature a lot of that kind of stuff pretty prominently, like characters growing and changing and maturing and realizing and self-actualizing and stuff like that is pretty prevalent in a lot of these series, and the show's still going. So I mean, it is either just that locked into a niche of older audiences now to where maybe it isn't as reliant on that child audience, but it's not like it's not still being made for them. So I think there's still a place where you can put that sort of stuff in kids shows and it will be appreciated by the kids. Maybe not every kid, but I think there are going to be a lot of them who are going to be able to latch onto that, and in at least some way.
That's fair. I'd like to believe that's the case, and a lot of this is just my reservations saying that kids today might be a little smarter than kids of past generations, including ourselves. I don't know how valid that is, but I can't help but wonder if kids really do appreciate this now. I know a lot of it happens because as generations go on, they care more and more about that stuff. Like you said, the people who grew up with Kamen Rider, who wanted that stuff, put it into Kamen Rider, and that will only continue to compound on itself as time goes on. And are kids just smarter than we were? I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too vague and hypothetical here to really serve the purposes of a podcast, but yes?
To counteract our kids getting smarter, someone in my high school, after I graduated, stuck their head in an air vent because they wanted to.
So perhaps we were just fools.
Yeah.
C'est la vie.
It wasn't just an air vent, it was a ventilation, suction vent.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there are outliers.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
there are always
weird
outliers.
And odd bananas.
I think I don't know if it's a question of if they're smarter, but I do think the culture of media consumption today, both from the creator end and on the interacting with other people end, given the prevalence of the internet, encourages kids to at least pay attention to their media.
Yeah.
And keep up with the story that's being told.
Half of media consumption today seems to be consuming media, criticizing media.
Sure is.
Which,
so,
hey, how you doing? This is the podcast.
Lord.
I'd like to think we keep a pretty gentle gaze on the show, all things considered.
I mean, it's not necessarily critical. It is technically
probably the harshest thing I had to say about it in just a few minutes ago.
It is technically criticism, but it's not in the essay format.
Right. Yeah, we aren't making a 2-hour essay on why Kamen Rider sucks.
Only why 1.5.
like, I don't... I hope, more than anything, I hope children are given the opportunity to think critically about media made for them, without the interference of too many adults telling them how to feel. I feel like there's a lot of pressure to have a, quote, right opinion about media, and it would make me very happy if children didn't feel pressured by that. It would make me very happy if children got to engage in fandom discussion themselves without somebody who's just way more experienced coming in to rain on their parade. Like, maybe they'd like a show that sucks, but they're having fun. Yeah. If you're some sort of literary analyst and you can poke infinite holes into this, you can in your own time. That's fine, but don't do it at them. Yeah. Okay. I'm tangenting. Let's get back to the podcast. I'm sorry, I've diverged so much.
We did diverge.
We are an hour. We are an hour and 25 minutes of the discussion and 9 minutes into the episode.
I didn't even want to look at the.
I thought we were 7 minutes in.
I was really expecting us to talk a lot in this episode, given that this is Hongo's back, yay! And we talk about the implications of his return, how they handled it, him plus Hayato dynamics, etc. I didn't really expect to talk about this subject,
Let's
though.
talk about his suit.
Well,
Let's talk about his suit.
For an hour.
For an hour.
The suit is important, damn it.
It is.
The suit is important.
This is an
Popping out
unexpected
those
turn,
pleather
but it
pants.
interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
it's very fascinating.
I will say, as much as it might annoy both the people listening, the person editing, and the other people who might be on the podcast, I don't know. I personally find when we go down off onto these roads of discussion quite interesting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love it. I just get self-conscious that I'm, like, rambling with no direction. I just talked so much about, like, do kids care if Kamen Rider's good, actually? For, like, 20 minutes.
I mean, maybe. And maybe they'll grow up watching Kamen Rider and then start to care if they don't. That happened to a friend of mine with a Cartoon Network show. Starts watching it for fun, and then, you get old enough to appreciate the plots, and you're like, oh, well.
Yeah, not to keep us on this point for too long, but I think I actually Gopher kind of hit the nail on the head there, because that's kind of one of the cool things about Kamen Rider, is that it has been going on for 50 years, and so there are people who have grown up watching the show and then like had kids and are now like watching the show with their kids together. And so you do kind of foster a mentality or a generational thinking of like, maybe you weren't paying that much attention about whether Kamen Rider was good when you were first watching it, when you were like 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever, but you grew up alongside the show enough that you eventually started to pay attention, and now it matters enough to you that you're even willing to share it with someone, and I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I unironically like this show.
Same.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Fight me.
I love it. I take any opportunity I can to yell about Kamen Rider, and I'm like, this show's good. It's ridiculous. Please watch it.
It's so good. I like, as much as I love doing this podcast and doing this with you, like, my one regret is kind of doing the podcast and doing it with you, instead of just slapping you all together in a fucking group chat where we could just watch Kamen Rider for hours and talk about it.
But
that's fair. I feel that.
Look at it this way: it lasts a lot longer with the podcast. We'll never run out of episodes to watch.
It's true. Now that I think we've got all of our tangent energy out, I don't even remember where we are in the synopsis.
Yeah, no, viewers. Viewers, this episode is going to be uploaded by the time we're done with this tangent. So, where were we in the episode? What's going on?
This episode's going to be recorded live during next week.
We had just finished the Yeti and
Yeah.
the Hongo
Okay.
fights.
Okay.
Hongo had just been thrown to his death.
Yeah.
Okay, and
And
he's
then
like,
walked away.
I can't fight these people.
Yes.
I gotta go to Japan.
Yeah, he transforms. He reveals that he cannot beat the snowman alone. He meets up with his two assistants, Mika and Emmy, who show him the plans that they stole from Shocker. He sends them ahead of him to Japan to give the plans to Hayato and says he will arrive later. Then we go ahead and go to Japan, where we are at like one of those seismic activity monitoring stations, the ones they have in places that are earthquake prone, so they can try to warn people whenever there's going to be like an earthquake. And they mentioned that they've noticed some seismic activity, and that there's a possibility that a nearby volcano may erupt. That's just some setting up the plot for later on. Then we go ahead and cut to Mika, Emmy, Yuri, Goro, and Tachibana. They're all getting on a ferry to, I believe they're not going to Sakurajima, right? They're going like somewhere nearby. Does anyone remember exactly where they're going?
I thought they were just going to the place. I think I spaced out.
It was started with a K. The
Kyushu?
southern. Was it Kyushu?
Kawash-
It was a southern region.
Kawasaki to...
I remember them mentioning Kyushu. I remember specifically Vampire Grandpa mentions Kyushu.
Yeah, Hyuga in
Yeah,
Kyushu.
Kawasaki to Hyuga in Kyushu.
Yeah.
There we go. So that's they're on the ferry. That's where they're going. They wonder where Hayato is, as they expected to see him on the boat, but they can't find him. And there it is revealed that Dr. Shinigami is on the boat as well. I'm gonna stop us here because I want to talk about the gang. The gang is all here. We got our Moto Club cast.
Yeah.
There is.
Yes.
I mean, should we talk about it now? I feel like if not now, when?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We have to.
Part of me
Sure.
wants to leave it for the very end. Just
I mean, we can't wait until the end of the
We
episode.
could.
It won't be relevant anymore.
sure it is. That's what I was asking at the end of the episode.
Oh, okay, yeah, but like to be fair, I was thinking about it at the beginning of the episode.
It's true, but I guess
Hit-
it's when we confirmed everything going forward about this information.
Okay, but that's also because we were cheating. If we were talking about just from an actual watching the episode standpoint, this would be the part where it becomes the most obvious because everyone is together now.
It's true.
Which means, if you'll notice that head count that I just gave you, Mika, Emi, Goro, Tachibana, we are missing 2 people. The questions to ask: where's Ruriko? Where's Mari?
Who?
Yeah,
I don't know who those people are.
unfortunately, unfortunately, the answer is in fact I don't know who those people are. Don't talk to me, you crazy weirdo, because they're just gone. I don't know. To the people who actually looked into this and like looked this up, did you get any information explaining the situation at all, or was it just kind of like a okay? Hit me with what you got there, Gopher.
Let me bring it up, so I can quote it verbatim.
Verbatim quotes. You'll love to see it.
Let's see here. Mari would leave the series without explanation after episode 38,
Oh, cool.
though she was still given credit in episode 39.
That's huh.
Forgot to even take her out of the damn credits.
This makes me so frustrated.
Mari, she went off on her hot girl
Yeah,
summer.
she really did.
And I just
yeah.
like as a DM, I feel this so much because you're like, well, that character's not in the show anymore.
Yep.
That character's not in the game anymore.
They're just
How did they leave?
Mm.
they
Needs to think.
Listen,
they had to go think about their religion.
they need to think on some things.
Mari found God.
She got crucified one too many times and was like, hey, wait a minute.
Wait, hold on. I need to check a date.
Please, check a date.
And I'm just like, yeah.
Well,
Please,
no, that
check a
wasn't
date.
until 2 years later. I don't know. Like, she was in a movie 2 years, like, this actress. I guess she was...
If the movie was released 2 years later, she might have been making it like a lot of that time.
It's possible.
Wait, hold on.
2 years later is when?
What
Like
is-
74 or 73?
4 or 5?
Hold on, she was on 74.
Okay.
Hold on. Mari went... There's this thing called Kohaku Utagasen.
Ooh.
I don't know when this takes place. It's said in 72 she went, this might have been around the time.
So you think maybe she just hopped shows?
I think she hopped show onto this and just never came back.
I mean,
Or I mean, for the next I mean, I don't think it was. God, I don't think it was like, what's it called? A super regular gig, but it seems like kind of a big deal for something that she had participated in regularly before.
yeah.
Like, who are we gonna project our feelings?
Your thirst.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hayata.
Yeah.
I mean,
But, like-
we have
I
smoothly
guess there's
moved
not
that in.
shortages, but it's still gonna be weird.
Our taste shows immediately.
Yeah. Well,
I'll miss Mari.
I mean, I'm
I
gonna
mean,
miss Mari too.
She's
That's,
fun.
Yeah.
I miss her already, honestly.
I really
I
do.
enjoy her presence.
I also
It
kind
was
of
a good dynamic within the show.
Yeah.
And I think the
Hey-
reason
Hmm.
why I specifically looked it up is she was told, or like in the last synopsis we were told that Yuri is Goro's sister now.
yeah. That
Yeah,
seems
And
I
I
to
was
wonder
about
if
to
that's
say-
the retcon.
Adopted.
because-
that seems to just be the retcon is now instead of Goro being related to Mari, something that we established not too many episodes ago. Goro is now related to Yuri instead.
Or something.
I guess. And
I have a question.
We might have an answer.
Have y'all edited the Kamen Rider wiki at all?
I have not. I
have
haven't actually
yet
Not
to-
me.
checked.
Did we independently come up with the name Rider Girls?
Yes. I believe
Huh.
like an early synopsis also referred to them as the Rider
Okay.
Girls.
I was
but-
gonna say, all these profiles say one of the original Rider Girls.
Yeah.
I was kind of
Who
curious
joined
about that,
after
honestly.
Honga's departure. Weird.
No, we definitely came up with that, and then because I remember specifically calling them the Rider Girls in my head, and I think we even called them the Rider Girls in the podcast, and then I was looking through the synopsis, and I was like, oh, hey, it agrees with me.
And I just
Well, I have good news. I'm sorry that I'm also just completely cheating. We don't have to say goodbye to Yuri.
Well, that's good.
Yay!
Wow.
She's gonna be here forever.
hooray! One of the
think-
characters stays.
I think the only character I would actually riot about leaving at this point is Tachibana.
Yeah, that's fair.
Goro.
I don't want. Well, yes.
It'd be a shame if Goro left, but I think I'd be okay. But if Tachibana left, I don't know what I'd
I'd
do.
be
I'm
just
sorry, I have to
sad.
quit the podcast.
No.
No, not really, but I'll be sad.
Yeah,
It'd be
I mean,
rough to lose Tachibana. I don't know
Because,
if I
like-
could lose Tachibana or Goro.
Like, I could lose Goro, and I'll tell you why. And I feel like B might share the same sentiment. Goro was added later. Tachibana is the last remnants of the original cast.
Yeah,
I know we're
He
gonna
is-
get more.
He is
Hongo,
now the absolute last.
he is. Yeah, well, yes.
but even still, there's this presence of Tachibana being there as such a character.
Did we count
Like-
Taki? Because he was there pre-Hayato.
Yeah, but so here's the thing.
but
mean,
Tachibana was episode
yeah,
one.
that's
I-
Tachibana
like,
was
yeah.
episode
Mhm.
fucking 1.
In fact, I think we saw Tachibana before we saw Hongo.
No,
No.
we did see Hongo first,
Or
but
like,
as far
was there
as
not like an establishing shit? What doesn't matter. But
Mm,
like one of the two characters we saw first.
yeah, he was one
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
it was
earliest
back to back.
Yeah.
characters that we ever saw. I mean, he was there since literally episode 1. There through the entire show up to this point. Yeah, losing Tachibana would be rough.
Yeah.
And if you couldn't tell by the way we
I-
have been talking about it, Ruriko has also just gone off the show.
Yeah, no, I was about to say
Yeah.
Ruriko is fucking gone, and I think I'm pissed about that more than anything else.
Yeah, you
that
were-
has
you
ever
were
come
heated
up
at
in
that.
The show.
Mm.
I am still heated about this. Like, she is a fucking related to Hongo's backstory character. Like,
Mhm.
she is actually kind of important.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
very
God,
vital.
To a
Right.
degree. She's fucking Professor Midorikawa's daughter.
Mhm.
Like, she was an actual key player of the dynamic of these characters, and
Of all of the
Gone.
characters that were introduced that help with the fight against Shocker, she is literally the only one who had an actual reason to.
personal stake.
Yeah, she had stake. She had skin in the motherfucking game, and now she's
Some of that
just
Nazi stuff.
gone.
Yeah, they
But-
bothered to say that she went to Europe with Hongo.
Yes.
Right.
They made the effort to say that, and then didn't make any singular effort to talk about why she's
Okay.
gone.
Legitimately, since she is gone, it is in my headcanon that she died fighting because I feel that is more narratively satisfying than she just left.
Well, yeah.
And
No,
I
that's just-
agree.
I guess that's
it's
just
like
narrative.
it sucks.
I don't know if
and it's
satisfying is the
headcanon.
right word.
It's not.
That would just
Or
make me
more
mad for
satisfying.
different
It's
reasons.
cohesive narratively.
It's
um,
I will
it's
give
at
you
least
it's
something.
more than
It's
what
a
we got.
resolution.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's not ideal, but it's better than literally nothing. Like I wouldn't want her to have died
no,
fighting
of course
Shocker,
not.
but at least
like-
it's not her disappearing into thin air without anyone ever referencing her ever
Yeah.
again as if she
That-
didn't exist.
I think that is truly the most frustrating thing for me, and I think probably maybe the only reason I'm not quite as torn up about this as Shakes is just because I think I wasn't quite that attached to Ruriko early on anyway. I think it was kind of one of those, here are your two characters, you may attach to either Ruriko or Tachibana, so I went ahead and hitched my ride on the Tachibana mobile.
I got two hands.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think the other thing too is just kind of I've gotten used to it at this point, because
Yeah.
she's now, for all intents and purposes, the fifth. No,
See, we had-
fourth.
Shiro,
Oh shit, you're right. Yeah, never mind. Fifth or sixth.
fifth.
Yeah, because Shiro just disappeared out of nowhere. Michi just
Michi?
disappeared out of nowhere. Hiromi just disappeared out of nowhere.
Hiromi.
And then Mari and Ruriko both in the same episode. Just
Yeah, that's
fucking
fun.
gone with no explanation.
to be fair, I think Hiromi was taken out by the FBI for eating crackers while talking on the ham radio.
I mean, okay,
Valid.
it would explain why it's never brought up. Just you can't
We don't talk about it.
Can't talk
We
about
don't
your
talk
boyfriend's
about
secret
it.
operations. We know who did it, but you're right. It's just because if Tachibana does leave, even entertaining that idea sucks. But let's
It's
say
rough.
he does. I'm not going to be surprised. I'm just going to be disappointed.
Yeah. It would just be kind of really legitimately frustrating. It would make me really want to try and dig into some of their, I guess I want to say retention practices. I don't know. It's just
Production.
yeah. Oh yes, definitely. That's it. Production, because
Yeah.
what is happening that these people are just disappearing, and specifically that they are disappearing without a trace. I think that is the more surprising thing, right? You talk about sitcoms and soap operas and stuff like that, and people come and go all the time, but usually, depending, you can tell how amicable the split was by the way they leave the show, right? If it's
Mhm.
like one of those, like their contract is up and they're just moving on to bigger and better things, they usually get like a pretty nice leave. If it's like one of those, like they just got nothing for that actor anymore and that actor is going to go on to another project, they might get a big send off. If it's, a pretty bitter cut, they might just like, oh, he's gone now and we're not going to talk about it. But
He moved with his grandparents or
Right.
something.
but these,
Went to college. That's
yeah,
it.
jeez.
Miss you, Steve.
But these,
Steve misses you.
um,
It's true.
but that's the thing, is these characters, they don't get a line, they don't get a backstory narration, they don't get like other characters who are still left in the show talking about them. It is strange because not only is it the experience of just like poof they're gone, but also poof they're gone and also we're gonna act like they never existed in the first place.
Yeah.
If you were to go up to this current iteration of the, Tachibana Moto Club and be like, hey, where's Mari? Their legitimate response would be like, Mari who?
Right.
None of them would know who that character is. If you went to Goro and you were like, where's your older sister? He would point at Yuri and be like, what are you talking about? She's right here. And,
This freaking Twilight Zone. It's
yeah,
scary.
exactly,
that's-
right? Like, it's such a
Genuinely unsettling.
weird energy to just be like, bye, they're gone. They never existed. Don't talk about them. Don't look at them.
Mari
Don't-
who?
Yeah.
This
Like, it's...
This is what I was talking about earlier when I was saying like this kind of stuff, like in a modern in any modern TV show, I think would be unforgivable.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
can't just not say something. Like you have to write a single line of dialogue.
Yeah.
It's bonkers that they are just vanished away from existence.
Yeah, that is definitely like the single most buck wild part about it, because like in the more modern writer shows too, characters go away all the time, and by go away I actually specifically mean die, because for some reason that is how modern Kamen Rider
Die.
likes to really, like, if a character is going to be removed from the show, it is usually by their untimely demise. And
Well, yeah.
well, it's
Why else?
yeah, it's very interesting, but like, the point is, especially because like 95% of the time the characters die, there is at least like some form of a resolution. There is closure. There's
Right.
it isn't just like so and so was in the background of these episodes one episode, and then the next 3 episodes you're like, hey, wait a minute, I haven't seen so and so anymore, and you go on the Wikipedia and you find out they're just fucking gone. There's at least some acknowledgement that like something used to be there and it has been since summarily removed, that you don't get with Kamen Rider specifically, like OG Kamen Rider. And it's just I think it is one of those things where specifically because they didn't say anything about it is what makes it more jarring.
Yeah.
Like, I think if they had made a one-off line about each of these characters leaving, I could have not even remembered that line, but I would have at least remembered enough to, like, if at one point I was like, hey, where's so-and-so? I would then be like, oh, wait, that's right. They said that she went to college or whatever. But, like, it was...
She went to Europe with Honda.
Right, exactly. But it was, it was specifically the thing that made me stop and go, hey, where the fuck is Michi and Hiromi? Was the fact that, like, they were just gone for, like, 3 or 4 episodes and no one said anything.
Yeah, we didn't realize. We didn't realize for 3 episodes after they were gone and had to look it up.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly.
Do I dare propose that one thing we should do at the very end of this series, when we finally finish the very first Kamen Rider series, we make like an AMV style video to In the Arms of the Angel of all the characters.
Memoriam.
Yeah, they got written off the show with no
Absolutely.
conclusions whatsoever, no explanation. Like, these people are dead to the
I
show.
cannot-
They
Or edit a Thanos snap video.
Yeah. One or the other, maybe both. We'll
Because it's feeling like that at this
put
point.
that on the list of projects
bit.
alongside the Hongo fan cam I was supposed to make, like, months ago.
We've got new material too.
Yeah. We've got a lot of new material, too.
Wiggly eyebrows.
speaking of that new material, we should get into it. I apologize for tangenting again, dear listeners.
Yeah, oops, we're still on the ferry.
Yeah, still on the
Still
ferry. 2
10
hours into the
10
goddamn
minutes in.
podcast. Yeah, like 10 minutes into the episode, but
It's fine. 80% of this will be cut. It'll be 10 minutes by the time Wordsey's done with it. It's fine.
and not 80%. You know how Wordsey does
You fucking wish.
his cuts. This is gonna be the longest episode ever.
Yeah, that's right. Wordsey does a good job.
Yeah, he does a great job. I'm never paying this episode off. Anyway, we're on the boat. I listed everybody's names. I said something about Dr. Shimigai. Oh, right. Okay.
Dracula is also on the boat.
Yeah, Dracula's on the boat.
Mari's Twilight zoned out of existence.
Mhm.
And
Who?
Yeah.
I don't know why I have that name in my head.
I'm feeling weirdly thirsty.
Boy, it
No,
sounds like
boy,
you're
I'm
parched.
I do have. This is the point in my notes, and this is why I was reluctant to bring it up because it was such a point of discussion. But yeah, I just wrote, "Is Mari gone forever too?" Like,
Well,
and then just like yes. The answer apparently was yes on both of these questions.
the answer is yeah. She got fucking
Yeah,
spirited away.
I had very similar notes of, did Ruriko just give up? Is she dead? What is happening?
I feel bad. I don't have a note about. I think I wonder if maybe there was part of me deep inside that knew, and that's why I don't have a note about Ruriko or Yuri, or Mari. But well, to be fair, I think also part of the reason I don't have a note about Mari is because I said something in media res, like while we were watching. I was like, "What the fuck? Why is Yuri here? Where's Mari?"
To play devil's advocate, we've had plenty of episodes where some of them are present and some aren't. So it's not that strange.
I think it's part of the confusion. Like, they made it initially, they kind of made it seem like, oh, it's going to be a rotating cast. Sometimes it's Mari and Yuri. Sometimes it's Michi and Yuri. Sometimes it's Michi and Mari. You never know which crazy combination of the writer girls you're going to get. And I think that prospect was made even more exciting when, in the first episode with the three of them, Mari's like, oh, I know how to fence. And Yuri's like, I'm a fucking black belt in karate. And Michi's like, I know how to drive a motorcycle. Because it's like, all right, cool. We got team comps. We got the fucking getaway bike with a swordsman. We got fucking the two fighters. We got, getaway bike with the karate girl. What kind of crazy combinations can you make to help your Kamen Rider?
Nah.
Psych!
Nah.
You get none of that.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
You're not
I'm
sorry,
so
Kamen
sorry.
Rider. You're not sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. B is much more sorry than Kamen
Absolutely.
Rider ever is.
I'm very sorry. I too was looking forward to all
Yeah.
these cool team comps.
Yeah.
And that's a real shame because I think there's a lot of I know we talked about it when they first showed up too. But there was a lot of potential for having the Team Kamen Rider, all the average human-powered people who fought all the mooks while Kamen Rider fought the big bad of the episode because no one else could feasibly take them
like
down.
the idea of if we had maintained the Rider girls in kind of the state they were promised to us in the first episode where they show up, and B, like the state that they are in the Kinokomol episode, and we had gotten to bring that version of the Rider girls all the way up to this episode. Like, could you imagine those Rider girls fighting alongside Mika and Emi and potentially also Ruriko and just, like, jobbing out fucking shocker grunts left and right while Hayato and Hongo are fucking going toe-to-toe against the snowman? That would be so cool.
Ideal. That would be ideal.
The ideal world,
Yeah.
the good universe, the Berenstein
Yeah,
Bears
really.
universe.
Yeah, the one where Nuriko returns with Hongo
got
and
a
she's all
gun.
badass now.
She's a...
Yeah, like what the like okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I will just fume forever. I hope if there was someone who's listening to this podcast and heard me talking in earlier episodes at length about how I was looking forward to seeing the development of Rurika as a character, or a potential non-development. This is not the situation I accounted for, and I hope you had a really good laugh. I hope you had a real good laugh if you knew what Kamen Rider was about and listened to that early episode of Long Time Watch Your First Time Writer. How little
Yeah.
I knew.
We
Sometimes
You were just a
What a
fresh little
fool.
baby.
Yeah, what a
We were
fool
so
I was.
naive.
you
then.
just expect the basics
Of continuity.
of
Expect
Yeah.
screenwriting.
characters- Yeah, just expect characters to, be there.
Either
And I was let down.
they either A, exist, or B, when they stop existing, we know why.
Not in Kamen Rider.
Like, wow.
People die when they're killed.
Really? Messed up.
No,
Dracula's on a
Dracula's on a boat.
Dracula's on a boat.
Goro's
Dracula's-
toxic get hit to Tachibana.
Yeah.
Goro's sister, never been anyone
Yuri.
else. Yuri.
Ugh.
Go
wiki
exploring
says so.
Christopher, look.
for Hayato.
I'm crossing
I-
the running water.
I don't want to talk about the whole Mariko situation too much more because we've spent enough time on it. I just want to say
Yeah.
one of the other things that I felt really weird to me about that swap specifically is I feel like they, specifically with regards to hairstyling and costuming, tried to make Yuri look more like Mari, like in the hopes that we
Yeah.
wouldn't
A little
notice.
It's
bit.
weird.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who picked up on that. Because I can't, like, especially this episode where she's, like, in the full Yakuta, and she's got her hair all done up, and she looks nice. She looks great. She looks lovely. We love that for her. But I saw her, and specifically there's a shot where you get a side profile of her, and I was like, what the fuck? It's like they're trying to make her Mari too or something. It was so weird. It's, like, jarring. Leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Going forward, Dracula's on a boat. Here we go.
They're looking for Kamen Rider. or
Yeah.
something.
So they wonder where Hayato is with Dr. Shimi. Okay, yeah. So Yuri and Goro, they decide they're gonna go search the rooms on the boat one by one, looking for Hayato. As Yuri and Goro look for Hayato, they come to the suite of Dr. Shimigami. Basically, they're, like we said, they're checking rooms one by one. Hello, room service or whatever the fuck. Door opens. There's a weird vampire guy there. They're like, sorry, wrong room. They do.
Royal room.
It's so
It's really
fucking
good.
funny. He just is a Dracula. He is never not dressed like that. He's not in disguise. He's
I
just
will say,
on the boat.
points to, we always talk about how fucking Goro's always given us great performances. The facial journey that
Mhm.
Goro
Oh,
takes
absolutely.
in this bit fucking rules. It's so good. Goro does such good face acting in that little bit where they see Dr. Shimigami and they're like, sorry, we have the wrong room. We'll go now. Goodbye, sir.
He goes from his neutral face to his surprised to kind of in fear and then just disgusted and weirded
Yeah, like
out.
there's
He's
like
just,
3
weird.
frames where he looks
Ow.
like he's gonna cry. It's
Yeah,
so
Yeah,
good.
He's
Ah.
cheeky little
Love
kid. I
Goro.
love him. いい天気だね.
Anyway, after they leave, it is revealed that Shabam, Taki, and Hongo are on the boat disguised as staff. They're playing a little sailor dress up.
It's so fucking funny because Yuri and Goro round a corner past a door, and that door then proceeds to open to reveal to
Hey
calm
everybody, it's
applause.
Taki and Hayato. Hey!
Taki and Hayato in their funky disguises.
It's
My line reads, the boys looking cute with sitcom entrance.
Yeah.
You could, like, practically feel the awkward, like, standing about as they
For the
just wait
audience to
for
stop,
the
yeah.
applause to subside.
right.
This is their first matching pair of suits, by the
this
way.
is true.
It is.
It looks
Looking
so
cute.
good.
Oh, they look so cute.
Little sailor man.
Who do you think organized? I'm not even gonna ask. I know it's Hayato.
Who's the one who's been his whole thing is costumes for like this entire show? This was 100% a Taki joint.
What?
I think I agree.
Yeah.
Hayato
Maybe
was
it
like, we need
Taki.
a way to get on that boat without it being seen. And Taki already had 2 sailor outfits in his hands, and he was like, "You said you're a size 13, right?
Okay,
Don't worry about
Where
it."
did you get this?
Yeah.
Taki, how did you know my
You
exact
asked too many
inseam?
questions.
Don't worry about it.
Hey, we've spent a lot of time together.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
fine.
It's fine.
You like your cuffs rolled, right? I mean, yes, but Taki, come on now. You're doing too much. Anyway,
Yeah.
where show me the word Taki. Nope, wrong word Taki. To
Scooby-Doo disguises for Hayato and
yes, here we go. Yeah.
That's what I wrote.
Taki and Hongo. Oh, I wrote that wrong. I put Taki and Hongo. It's Taki and Hayata are on the boat disguised as
On the
staff.
plane.
That actually means
Yeah.
something now.
Dr. Shinigami calls the snowman and commands him to get the documents unseen. This scene is...
I'm immediately laughing.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
because this scene is so fucking good. Because, like, Yuri and Goro leave, right? We get the bit where Taki and Hayato show up. Then it cuts to inside of the... inside fucking Shinigami's suite. And he uses his weird, like, cane microphone thing, and he's like, Snowman, come to me. Come, Snowman. And we just see... Yes! Yeah, like, this door in the cabin just opens, and the Snowman just walks out, like, fucking, what do you want? I was dropping the deuce.
Visibly walking
Yeah,
out from
like,
a back.
absolutely
absolutely.
was in the bathroom for sure. It was like, I was taking a Waz, dude, what do you want?
Just taking an abominable dump. Abominable, sorry.
It's so, the
It's incredible.
Just
I wish they added
it
a
would have been
flush
so
sound
good.
effect. Like, it would make that scene perfect.
Especially
Be
with like the
delightful.
way that the snowman moves, because it's like kind of stiff, because obviously he's supposed to be like, yeah. So he commands the snowman. He needs to go get the. Well, I like this because first Snowman's like, Dr. Shinigami, do you want me to sink the boat? And Shinigami's like, no, not yet. Hold on. We got another job that we got to do first. So Shinigami tells them that old Snowman, he needs to go and he needs to get the plans off of one of the writer girls, and he needs to do it unseen. Sight unseen.
Dude, what's next?
So what's next is, as we mentioned, Snowman has to go get the plans. He has to do it unseen. So we got to the writer group. They're all kind of just in a part of the boat. They're hanging out. Tachibana is in the corner smoking a pipe, reading the newspaper. Yuri, Miki, and Emmy? What is your name? Yeah, Emmy. Mika and Emmy.
Emmy and
Yeah.
Mika.
You'd think this would get easier as we lost more and more of them. But the problem is we're losing the ones that we're losing after I have memorized their names.
Yeah, right? We committed them to
Just
memory, and now
got
they're
used
gone.
to the last ones.
Oh, man.
So,
Oh.
But yes, her comical
Yeah.
sized fortune
yeah,
telling
Mika's
is
got the
added
big
again.
card. She's doing some fortune telling on the boat. Unfortunately, she draws the only card that I need, which is the Ace of Spades.
Da-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
Snake eyes watching you. Be careful now, we're gonna summon Triple H. Hey, there's another wrestling joke.
God will.
I knew it. I goddamn knew it. I knew you were done. Liar.
Gonna fight the Yeti!
That's too.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we already made that one.
No, I think you still made it.
It still counts. Look, the point is we haven't done Steiner math in like 6 episodes. We're doing okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, she draws the Ace of Spades, stating that she has a bad feeling about the trip. Meanwhile, in the window outside, the Yeti is just kind of Scooby-Doo leaning in, looking at them, and then he slinks away.
What y'all doing? Okay.
Hey, what's up?
Tachimon's like, see ya.
You ever
Lights his pipe.
to specify just how clearly in view this Yeti is? If you've ever leaned like in a video, like a stealth video game,
Yeah.
you know, and you're like, I'm clearly like 50 at a 45-degree angle outside of this wall, but the guard is just looking at you and it's just like, nope, I don't see him, and then just walks away. It's that.
What was that? Must have been my imagination.
I think they get away with this only because I'm doing the thing where I relook at a shot, and the girls are actually pointed like 45 degrees away from Tachibana's window, where the Yeti is peering in. So we're just gonna pretend that girl doesn't have peripheral vision because she's so focused on her conversation.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
It's like,
her
but otherwise not looking at it.
her conversation, you know, it's a little mentally consuming. All Emmy, she's concerned. She's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep. The pressure and the stress of having these plans and having to get them to Mr. Hayato, especially when we haven't found him yet. It's going to be hard for me to get a good night's rest. To which Yuri, who apparently gives no shits or fucks about anything, is like, hey, just give them to me. I'll sleep fine. And Emmy, for whatever reason, not
like
seeing this as any kind of a red flag, is like, yeah, I bet. So that's the important thing that happened. We've got an information handoff.
Girl, I'm dumb as shit. Give me those plans.
Girl, I can't even spell stress.
S R.
Stress.
There you go. There you go.
So Yuri, stress-free, takes the plans from Emmy, and of course this handoff is seen going down by the snowman. We cut to a scene where we are watching Tachibana.
Oh, my snowman.
Anyway, Tachibana and Goro are now going door to door looking for Hayato, but while they are looking for Hayato, they instead are they run into Taki, but they are told by him to keep his presence a secret, for the purpose of, keeping everybody else on the boat safe and keeping Shocker unawares.
All these covert operations.
If you're wondering why it feels like that sentence was longer than maybe I actually wrote it, it's because I had to embellish some stuff, because that scene is like 15 seconds long.
Yeah.
It is literally just cut to Tachibana and Goro. They knock on a door. Door opens. Taki is there. They have like a 3-line conversation with Taki. Cut to next scene. Which, cut to next scene we shall. It is nighttime. The group are still on the boat. Emmy, Mika, and Yuri are kind of just hanging out. They're looking at the sea. Emmy and Mika are like, we're gonna go to bed. We're tired. And after they leave, a Shocker goon makes an attempt to kidnap Yuri. However, that Shocker goon is where am I? Here we go. At night, Shocker attempts to kidnap Yuri, but are stopped by Hayato and Taki. Hayato tells Taki to take care of the boat while he goes on ahead. So yeah, we see a Shocker goon. He's trying to, abscond with Yuri. He gets intercepted by Hayato. We get a short little fight scene. Incredibly short. And yeah, that conversation happens.
Because he gets insta-killed by another
Shocker.
Shocker man.
We actually enacted Shocker law.
I thought it was self-imposed Shocker law, and I was going to be really impressed with this mook. But no, it actually
I think it
turned
was
out
self-imposed.
We had this cool knife-throwing mook.
Oh,
No, it was
no.
knife-throwing
for sure.
It was
Okay.
shocker on
I mean, that's still
shocker
good.
violence.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize knife throwing Shocker.
And then it leads
Actually, depending on how
it
it's
leads
filmed,
into a great catch
Yeah.
by Hayato.
depending on how it's filmed, I think it actually might have been self-imposed.
No. It's. I was following his eye line and everything on that. Like it's
Oh, is
very
it?
much a whoosh, like this is implied to have been thrown, and he goes
Okay.
like, "What the?" and looks into the distance, and then we cut to
Okay,
other
so
Shocker
it is
Mm.
like Shocker law.
and who proceeds
Yeah.
to throw more knives.
My man's shucking knives. But yeah, neat. Shocker law actually being enacted. So
He
Fine.
didn't even
Love to
say
see it.
anything. He was gonna though.
No
No
chances.
chances.
Yeah.
So as the gang lands, they've made it to shore. And they comment on where did they go? They comment on never seeing Hanga, and Taki says that he is most likely at their hotel. The group arrive at the hotel, and we later see that Yuri and Emmy have changed clothes. This is plot relevant. Here is why. While sightseeing, Emmy, which I have somehow typoed into Emil, and Mika are attacked, and Emmy is kidnapped. Goro comes across Mika passed out, and she reveals what's happened. This was kind of a fun little scene, because we get even like a heads up warning to it happening, because we see like Taki walked past by Yuri, and he's like, "Hey, wait a minute, what are you doing in those clothes?" And Yuri's like, "I wanted to put on something a little more comfortable, so Emmy and I swapped outfits. Don't I look good?" And it's like, "Oh no, that could be a problem," and it sure does end up being one.
Uh-oh. I don't know how this like kidnapping situation is. I'm a little confused. what the hell was happening?
Yeah.
Like they have all these little like
Yeah, I assumed they were like
signs?
telescope type things or something, just like something to help you see the sights of the mountains.
Maybe, yeah. I'm
Don't
looking at these
fucking
things and I'm not
Look
entirely
at me, I'm not the country of Japan.
sure
I don't know
what-
what they are.
Yeah. But then one of them looks inside of one of them,
Oh,
and there's
God!
Yeti inside, and he's just like, I was behind the whole time.
I think
She lets out a
she lets out
"Kya!"
a fucking real ass anime-esque
and gets
Kya.
Yeti'd.
And
Kya.
we get this line of, I don't know if this stuck out to you.
It
did
didn't,
to
because
me.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
What?
I wish I'd worn.
Oh yeah, them
I wish
talking
you'd
about
let
the
me wear
fucking
those
jeans.
jeans. I wish I'd wore jeans like you, Emmy. Lend them to me later, okay? Sure.
Yeah,
thing.
what the fuck
I'm
was
just like,
that?
I guess she's regretting her choice of pants for looking good. I
Yeah.
guess.
I
I don't
my
understand.
assumption. So my assumption is that kimonos are very restricting in terms of movement, and they're kind of trying to walk around on the mountainside.
Okay.
So it's not
Here is
exactly
the
practical
problem
wear.
with that.
So B
It's not the
Yeah.
girl who was wearing the
Yeah.
kimono who was saying these lines.
Yeah.
saying,
This is specific.
yeah, it's the
yeah,
girl in the
it is
red
specifically
pants.
Mika talking to Emmy.
Oh right, what was?
She just has red pants
Yeah.
and a sweater. It doesn't look like jeans would make a huge difference. I guess she thinks she'd look better in them. Is all she's really
guess.
saying.
Maybe.
I think
Yeah.
she looks pretty
It was
good
a nice
in this
outfit.
fit.
You didn't need to change, girl.
It is.
Both of these new girls
Yeah.
are really cute.
Yeah.
let's
They're
make
very
no mistake here. They're extremely cute. Also, this brief kidnapping.
Yeah,
scene,
talk about brief.
you get the.
Yeah.
It's very brief. You get the fucking tandem offense. The Shocker-kun hooks her from behind.
Bam!
And Yeti just like gut punches her.
Just right in the earth.
I don't know why. This is awful. It's violence.
It's
But something about it is just something about the move he employs of just this really normal
just gut ass punch ass gut punch, and bam, she's out.
You don't need to be eloquent. You're
And then he
He's a
and you
big ol'
fucking
Yeti.
just
yeah.
puts her in the not the fireman's carry, the actual way of carrying people, not the fireman's carry, the wrestling move. But he just puts her in the fireman's carry right over the shoulder and is like, "All right, let's go."
Goro comes in
caveman-
right on
caveman
cue.
kid.
And
Kidnaps her.
Goro comes in a second later, looking all cute in his shorts and his sweater, like Goro's wont to do.
And
Good Goro fit.
yeah. And then is informed that Emmy is kidnapped.
So we get back to the snowman, Saul Snowman, has
Snowman.
brought the girl back to Dr. Shinigami, but Dr.
Who has a nice
Yeah.
hotel room booked.
Shinigami is like, kill this girl, and
She's
he's
got a
like,
really
but
nice room.
she's the one, and he's like, I like this scene because it is specifically Shinigami tells him to kill Emmy, And Snowman is like, but didn't I get the right girl? And he's like, she's in the right clothes, but that's the wrong face, you dumbass. It's a totally different person, you idiot. Go kill her. And he's like, oh, yes, sir, boss. Yes, boss. I'm gonna kill her right away. So he goes to go, murder a girl, by yeeting her off a cliff. But luckily she is...
Yeah.
Really.
Character.
Luckily, though, she is saved by Taki and the other girls. They are attacked by Shocker, when Hayato arrives to fight them off. As Hayato is fighting, Hongo arrives, and the two combined defeat the Snowman. This is pretty much the rest of the episode is just like one really long fight scene, along with just like a scene at the end where Hayato and Hongo are like, let's work together. And then, of course, they ride off to get a Denny's Grand Slam, while the narrator talks about how they're going to renew their promise to not be assholes to their grandpa or whatever.
Good, amazing part of this fight. It's otherwise a pretty simple, pretty simple fight.
Lots of swordsmanship.
Lots of swordsmanship in the next 2 episodes. But like, there's a really great moment because Hayato shows up while Hongo is already fighting. And he takes care of a couple of grunts, and then there's just one standing behind him at the ready while he does things. He's just like, Hayato just stops doing what he's doing to transform, and the other guy just kind of like is stanced up, just like, okay, I'll wait for you to be done.
Yeah, I loved it because it is probably the first instance, at least that I recall in this show, of like a bad guy waiting for the good guy to transform. It's wonderful.
Great.
I think it is a trope that is ever joked upon. I know, there have been times where, like, when I'm watching Kamen Rider and someone who isn't into the show, like, comes in and they're like, why do they just stand there and let them transform? I think it is probably something that has been talked about so much that they now make it a point to, like, in more modern Kamen Riders and in, like, Sentai especially, not only are the transformations, like, so big and colorful and loud and, like, effects-filled and bodacious, that in universe, like, how are you supposed to even get at the person? But, and this is something that's, I think it's a little more common in Sentai than in Kamen Rider, where specifically there will be a part of the transformation that keeps enemies out. So that there is a, like, no, you don't actually get to attack while we are doing our transformation. A personal favorite example of that is in Resha Sentai Tokyuja, which was a Sentai series that was themed around trains. When they go to do their transformation, the, like, white train line goes down on the ground in front of them, and, like, an invisible narrator is like, please stay behind the white line while the train is boarding. And you get the whole announcement and everything. And so, like, straight up, if a goon tries to go attack him, there's, like, a big invisible wall. And it's like, no, please, sir, stay behind the white line as the train is pulling in. It's great. It's so good.
That's fantastic. Also, I'll say I was erroneous. Hayato arrives first, and then because we get the great scene of Hongo arriving very slowly driving over rocks. He's bumping over every rock on this incredible rocky
just
field.
The rockiest. It's such a good scene.
They did what they could. They were definitely filming on location in a brand new area and on boats. Like, there was no sets here. We were filming on the real shit.
We were live on location for the whole thing. It was very cool. I don't know. Like, there's not a lot to specifically talk about. This fight scene just kind of rules.
I think
they just kind of punch him over and over.
Yeah, I think the ending is worth talking about. Because we get the POV shot of, like, the Yeti just getting punched repeatedly.
POV, you're getting punched. Your death.
Yes. It's very good. I think truly the only thing better than that is the fact that we do end the fight with the double rider kick, which was mwah. I fucking adore multiple rider kicks. There is something about that is just so fucking cool. And like that, this was the first one, and it was awesome. It was just so to watch them, especially because like probably because of the suit actors and like the way they were trained, their like movements mimic mirror each other a lot, but they aren't like perfectly one to one. So you just get that little nugget of personality between like this is how Hongo does it and this is how Hayato does it, and it's so good.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It's good shit.
It's very good.
It's very good, as was this episode.
But the riders double kick the Yeti and he explodes as is tradition.
He turns into a mannequin, falls off the roof. Or the cliff, the roof of this volcano. And then and then
explodes again, and then I believe he explodes the third time.
No, he doesn't. But I remember I commented while we were watching that I was really hoping they'd just throw in that flying Squirtle explosion again.
That would have been really good.
It's my favorite.
It's a good ass explosion.
Fair.
I mean, any comments, any thoughts? I know we spent a long ass time on this episode talking about shit that was not this episode, so I just anything that felt like it was missed, or anything anybody wants to say before we go ahead and go to the ads, quote unquote.
I think we should just go to the ads. I mean, it's been so long.
Probably just go to the ads. Hey,
the ending of this is pretty unimportant because this is a two-parter in every sense of the word. Like the big plot will continue in the next episode.
So yeah, our big plot is also going to continue in the next episode. But that episode is going to come after a brief ad break. Everybody remember to leave your recording on. Well, hello everyone. Hope that you've been enjoying the episode so far. It's a good friend, King Fats the 95th, and I got a little bit of an ad read for you. First of all, we'd like to thank you for watching the episode, and we'd like to say if you want to keep up to date with everything that we're doing here on the Longtime Watcher, First Time Writer podcast, you can check us out on our Twitter. That's at First Ride Pod on Twitter. We post episodes there. We're going to be posting all sorts of news and announcements there. Pretty much anything that's going on with the podcast, it's going to happen there. That's also where you're going to get your announcement tweets for the new episodes, including the link to our SoundCloud and our YouTube. Our SoundCloud is also soundcloud.com/firsttimewriter if you want to go follow that. We are Longtime Watcher, First Time Writer Pod on YouTube. If you want to hunt us down and subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you want to hear more from your various podcast hosts, because they're a wonderful bunch, you can check us all out on our various ventures. You can check me out on Twitter at KingFats95. I'm also on Twitch at twitch.tv/KingFats95. You can check out the Magical Whale Gopher at WhaleGopher on Twitter and twitch.tv/themagicalwhalegopher. You can check out Action Shakespeare at ThatGalInTheHat on Twitter and at twitchtv.actnshakespeare. And you can check out B-Drops at B-DropsArt on Twitter and on twitch.tv/B-Drops. Also, very exciting news. We now have a Patreon set up. So if you want to check that out, get some fun little goodies like early access to episodes, our notes, and the synopses that I write for our viewing sessions, some nice fun physical rewards at the higher tiers as well. Go ahead and check that out. You should be able to find all the information about that Patreon on our Twitter as well as a link to it. We hope that y'all have a wonderful time, and let's get back to the episode. We hope you enjoyed that ad break. We're going to get right back into it with episode 41, The Magma Monster Ghoster, Great Decisive Battle at Sakurajima. It originally aired January 8th, 1972. Once again, no synopsis on the synopsis, so we're gonna have to go with homemade.
Previously,
that's okay.
Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
Delicious.
I didn't put that as part of the synopsis since it was just kind of like breaking down what happened in the episode, but we should go over for the people who might not have watched it yet. Yeah, we had like a last time on Kamen Rider this episode. I think it's like the first time we've gotten one of those, even on a 2-part episode. It was real neat. It was just like a short recap about like pretty much everything that happened in the previous episode.
Yeah.
It was pretty nice.
Including Europe exploding, and there was Yeti and a Dracula, and then 2 Kamen Riders beat the Yeti to death with their bare hands.
Mm-hmm.
And a thing I forgot to mention before we finished the last episode is there's a really funny shot of the 2 Kamen Riders like standing tall after they throw the mannequin off the thing and it explodes. They're standing tall, but Hongo is standing right where smoke is billowing. So it's just this victory pose for Hayato, and it's like Hongo's also there. He's behind the smoke.
Yeah,
it's not a great shot. I feel like they could have maybe reshot that one, but they clearly didn't. They also left a camera stand in one of the shots, so maybe they were a little rushed at the end.
I mean, yeah, they were probably a little slapdash at this point. Like we said, building the rails as the train's going forward.
I think the train is past the rails. They are still building them.
They're just kind of building the rails underneath them, just like trying to make sure the back of the train's got something to support itself.
Yeah.
Fucking Wallace and Gromit clip.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There's the GIF.
There it is. The classic.
Perfect.
So yeah, let's getting into the synopsis proper as I have written it. Hayato and Hongo are searching an area of Sakurajima, searching for signs of chakra. I'm at least assuming they were in Sakurajima. I truly don't know.
More like Shakurajima. Got him.
Hey, got him.
Proceed.
Anyway, searching an area of Sakurajima, searching for signs of chakra. Unknown to them, they are being watched by Dr. Shinigami, who calls for a new shocker monster, Ghoster. Shinigami tasks Ghoster with building a tunnel, but the work is slow as the workers can't handle the heat, so he's told to kidnap more.
Challenge for our listeners who have not watched the episode yet. What do you think Ghoster looks like?
Yeah, what do you think Ghoster looks like? That is one.
Leave pause the video, leave a comment below, and then see how wrong you are.
Yeah. This is one we don't, we shout them out on the Twitter and everything, and I think we've talked about them on the podcast before, but as a rule of thumb, we tend to leave PO's drawing interpretations of the shocker monsters out of the podcast. This is one of the few ones where specifically I would love to see PO's interpretation based on just the name, and then PO's interpretation based on what we describe it as, and then like comparison to final product. Because with a name like Ghoster, you really wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
It
is a very fitting name, though.
The entire episode.
Yeah, I think they call him Ghoster
and that's why it's
twice.
So fitting, because this is going to be setting a precedent for the episode here. But they call him Ghoster because he just doesn't really show up.
Hey.
Yeah,
Bonk.
Zing.
I will say this is not the first time they have quote-unquote called in a shocker monster. This is, however, the first time we have gotten a scene of them doing it, which I thought was pretty cool. We get that bit with, like, the toy diorama set where there's, like, the toy crane lifting up the little ghoster doll. And it was just like, hey, look, they're actually calling him in. They're, like, going and getting him. They were like, we left him in this volcano to chill. I think he's just doing reps in there.
Yeah, he's just doing
But
sit-ups.
call him into my office.
Fucking, yeah, I wrote down to activate the claw machine and yank out Magma Man. I did not write down his name a single time in these notes.
No, that's fair.
What does Ghoster look like?
Did I even mention him in my notes?
Well, for one thing, we got to just call it as we see it, because it's one of those you'd be hard-pressed to not comment on this when you saw him. This dude's head is a volcano.
Yeah.
Let's just get that right out of the way. This dude's fucking head is a fucking volcano.
Yeah.
I know it's supposed to be magma coming out from there.
But
It doesn't look like it. There are shots of him more accurately depicted, not like at like a forward angle. The way it trails down, it does look like he's just got some fleshy bone bits.
He's a little bit
yeah.
partially melted.
Yeah.
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 He's got, like, craggly mountain skin, which is to be expected, and that's cool, and I love that. I think my favorite feature on him is his tubes.
He's tubes.
He got tubes.
He got some tubes.
He got tubes.
What kind of tubes?
Where did they come from? Where did they go? Where did they come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Couldn't fucking tell you. But he got tubes. He's got two that either come from the front and go into the back, or come from the back and go into the front. Couldn't tell you. And then he's got two that do that again, but more towards the top part.
Yeah. They look like there's nothing that they are logically facilitating.
Nope.
Oh, yeah. I completely forgot about
It's like
the
he's
tubes.
supposed to have magma powers or something, and then they forgot.
Well, he has... Yeah, I was gonna say...
He spit hot fire.
He spit some hot fire, like once, I think, in the final battle, because, yeah, he just doesn't really show up or do anything for that matter.
Yeah, no, not really.
Yeah.
I'm glad I at least remembered that he shot
Just such a
fire, because if he
non-entity.
didn't, because I honest to God couldn't
He
remember if he
does?
demonstrated any sort of power.
Yeah, no, he shot flame.
He shoots flame once.
Okay.
He shoots
I guess.
a fireball. It's pretty fun.
I think...
He's like the middle manager
Yeah.
of Shocker. Like, really, just...
Like,
The weird thing for me is you can't find pictures of this dude.
you really can't. He's ghosting.
Like you go on Google and you look him up and you get there's 3 pictures. That's all you got.
What more do
happened
you
to
need?
Ghoster?
I don't think anybody cares about Ghoster.
That's
Especially
probably...
given, to be fair, the
How
plot
can
of this
you?
episode, he's really redundant.
Yeah.
Like, okay, even in the wiki, you get a much more important scene. If you click the episode name, you get something that hardly features Ghoster at all in the picture.
Yeah, you can barely see him in this shot.
Yeah, it really makes me wonder why he exists, because like anything he was doing could have been accomplished by just having the Yeti be in one more episode. Because it's the same
and
plot.
To make matters weirder of how much of a non-entity this character is, we have like a 3-sentence, like 1 or 2 sentences for the intro, and it does not mention Ghoster at all, besides the name.
Yeah, pretty much.
like besides episode name, doesn't show up. It's just
I mean, what is there even to say outside of he's here sometimes anyways?
He's here, he's queer, get used
He's
to it.
covered in ketchup.
It covered and get lost in the sauce,
Yeah.
truly.
It's like,
Women in that catsup.
like, yeah, it looks kind of like that weird fleshy stuff from the trilobite, but on other angles, it just does look like he's just been doused in ketchup. Some of that Heinz
Delicious.
57 just all over him.
Dig into this ghoster.
I find Googling Ghoster Kamen
Yeah.
Rider, I find more pictures, equal number of pictures between him and Aegis from Persona 3. And that's just weird to me. That really shows just how
Yeah,
nobody
truly
cares.
how little people gave a fuck about this dude.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize. It's not
I
your
just-
fault.
Someone worked hard on this design and this concept and this costume
Yeah.
That's the
and
thing.
Yeah, I
It's
was
a
gonna
cool
say, it's a
concept.
good design. Underutilized. Mid-tier monster.
Hmm
I think it could have been so much more. I
The ceiling
have
was
to
high.
admit, the ceiling is high, and I got to admit, at this point in time, I actually think, despite the fact that this is a Monster of the Week series, you can go some weeks without a new monster. Sometimes it only makes them look bad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
looking
this
at
is-
Antler Thunder and Ghost Star particularly.
Oof.
Yeah. This is definitely
Yeah.
an instance where having a new monster kind of didn't, especially because really truly it is not even so much that he gets usurped by Snowman being a better monster of the week in his episode. It is more so the fact that he gets usurped by the other shocker monsters that show up in this
Yeah.
episode. One in
Yeah.
particular, because they give him a shit ton of lines for some reason.
He's so prolific.
Yeah, we'll get into it, but
Yeah.
let's
Ah,
well actually let's
Jesus.
go ahead and because we're about to get into it right now because we're like very quickly approaching that scene. So
Yeah.
where was I? Here we go. A bus arrives to the hotel that the Tachibana Motor Club, you will recall, is staying at, warning the people at that hotel about a potential eruption in the area. As one would do in an emergency situation like this, people start to file into the bus. But as the guests begin to file in, two boys, Goro and another child who I don't remember if we got his name. I remember thinking I'll try to make sure I catch his name when I did my rewatch, but I didn't ever actually see it.
I think I can't remember. Did Hayato introduce Goro to him or vice versa? Either way, this kid's name doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I just
The real ghost.
he shows up enough that I don't want to just keep calling him the kid.
He's just other kid.
Potential orphan number 1.
Yeah, potential orphan number 1.
I think he didn't get that far, but yeah, he's almost.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's potential. So yeah, as the guests are filing in, two boys, Goro and potential orphan number 1, are left out. The bus drives away without these children, and people are like, "Wait, come back, get these kids." Old Goro suspects that the people who followed them onto the bus are with Shocker, and so he tells the other child to wait while he goes to get Hayato. On the bus, the people ask to go back for the kids, only to be told by the now revived Armadillon that they are now Shocker's slaves.
It's me, Armadillo.
So-
They let me live again. Hey, how you doing?
Armadillon's back.
Just a quick
He's also got
aside before we leave it too much. Tatsuji
Tatsuji.
is the kid's name.
Tatsuji, you said? Okay,
Tatsuji.
Tatsuji. I thought
Okay.
he had a name.
Kyo
also now
Tatsuji.
that Armadillon is being brought up again. Armadillo decided that
Unless I'm
his
pronouncing that wrong.
his
Um,
first or his this is his third time being around on the show, so he's really going to take advantage of it and sort of rebrand a little bit. So now instead of whatever the hell noise he used to make, he now goes
And you have to understand, when we say he goes brr, we don't mean like he does it once or twice. This dude sounds like a phone ringing off the hook. Yeah.
I'm trying something out. I'm trying something new. I'm armadillo. They let me live again. I gotta freshen up my image if I want to get noticed.
Yeah, like really. Fucking indie talent getting the WWE tryout #2.
Right?
Like, holy fuck, this dude. Like, every other, like, if this dude takes a step, he is making that noise.
Armadillo looks like
Yeah,
a
he
Nerf
does.
He
gun.
sure does.
oh my god,
And I
he
just-
sure does.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Really going full assault now.
Yeah. It really is nerf for nothing.
Jesus.
Yeah, so Goro is, or not Goro, Armadillo's back, and he's got a brand new sound to go with his brand new job of tunnel foreman. Is he the tunnel foreman? I don't know.
I don't
know
think
what he
he's
does.
responsible for that.
I-
He's just grabbing the people, it
I
seems.
think he's just grabbing people.
He's a glorified mook
Yeah.
that makes a fun new noise.
Yeah.
I do want to emphasize just a slight backtrack.
Please.
Tatsuji,
Mhm.
our newly named Uchu Tatsuji Kyodai, there's my joke. Is fucking distraught. He is ruined. He
Reasonably
has been
so.
abandoned. His mother is on that bus, and he does not know what to do whatsoever. Goro says,
Yeah.
bye. Like, it just fucks off. Just like, I gotta go get Hayato. See ya, kid.
I will say, I do like Goro shows some wherewithal and some grit and a real tough guy side to him that I very much so appreciate in this episode. Because, yeah, he doesn't hesitate. He's not like, what's going on? He's not like, oh no, Yuri. None of that. As soon as that bus drives away, he's like, this is a shocker, fuckers. And alright, I'm gonna go get Hayato. Kid, you wait here. And he runs.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he runs off.
Leaving
just like,
this
I'm
kid
just gonna
to
book
just
it.
cry alone
Yeah, to
Face-
cry in the middle
and
of the
face
street.
his doom, because as far as that kid is concerned, a bus taking him away from certain death just left. No effort to comfort this
Yeah.
child. Yeah, fuck you. Bye.
Girls gotta do big kid shit right now.
Goro left and then immediately forgot who this kid was. That's evidenced later.
Well, I don't know if it's immediately. I think some time is supposed to have been passed. I think actually even maybe multiple days
my
are supposed
my
to have passed.
interpretation, though, is that as soon as he left the scene, Goro instantly forgot about that child.
That's fair. That's a lot funnier.
As soon as he left his peripheral vision, bam, out of his head.
Just gone. Gotta work on that object permanence there, Goro.
Yeah, just don't eat it. If I don't keep seeing him, it's not important.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Okay, yeah. Armadillo tells him the shocker slaves. All right. So the second boy is seen. We have a name for him now.
Tatsuji.
Tatsuji. Old Tatsuji is seen looking for his mother when he runs into Hayato and Hongo. The pair ask him what's wrong, and he explains the situation. While this is happening, we see Goro arrive where Hayato and Hongo were previously looking for Hayato.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, wah wah wah, but also, like, either they were a lot closer to that hotel than I thought, or fucking Goro booked it.
what kind of round?
Those little legs.
Yeah, what kind of roundabout route happened here?
Yeah, they didn't pass each other. That's a great question.
Just the Kronk pulling up the diagram. Yeah. Well, it counts. It doesn't make any sense.
Make sense. It's very simple. There was probably some sort of wooded or forested area that Hongo and Hayato probably had to go around because that's how the road was built, and they were on motorcycles, and Goro cut the fuck through like a goddamn commando.
Yeah. Just hopping over logs and shit.
Exactly.
Uncontainable.
Cannot be stopped.
He ran straight up that mountain like Sonic the Hedgehog.
He sure did. And we love him for that. So Hayato and Hongo, after hearing the child's explanation, decide that this is the work of Shocker. As they begin to go after the people, Hongo says, I put this nicely in Hongo's favor to make him not seem like the total homicidal maniac that he is. I put that Hongo says they should split up. What specifically happens is Hongo stops them and says, "We don't need two people to go after Shocker, do we?" And the reason he has brought this up is because for whatever reason he has decided that the privilege of being able to go after Shocker Mooks shall go to the winner of a coin flip. All Hongo busts out the coin. He's like, let's flip a coin to see. Sorry. Flip a coin. We'll see who gets to go after Shocker and who stays to bring the kid home. What I appreciate about this is he busts out the coin. He says, let's flip for it. And Hayato is immediately like, hey, you're not trying to trick me with some kind of double heads-sided coin, are you? And Hongo's like, of course not. You can trust me. And,
I would never use a double-sided head coin.
Come on now.
It's ridiculous.
So Hayato, trying to be a little shit and call Hongo, is like, alright, I choose heads. And so Hongo flips it. What's the flip say? Oh, it's tails. Aw. Too bad, so sad, Hayato. You go ahead, you send Tatsujin home. Tatsuji home. And all Hongo is going to go after Shocker. Wherein it is revealed that it was not a double heads coin. It was a double tails coin.
The prestige.
Yeah. Okay. This whole bit made me go on a notes journey. When he made,
I guess for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. So when he first even made the challenge, I just put a note that said Hayato Two-Face. I think it was after the results of the flip. Yeah. I think it was after the results of the flip, I just put a note that says, looks like I get to go murder. Followed by, Hongo is hella battle horny now. And then the prestige Two-Face real.
I mean, what do you mean now, though?
Yeah, honestly.
I don't, yeah. It was just different. You know? Back then, it was a little more subdued. I mean, this was like the faces
he didn't have competition back in the day.
The faces he makes in this bit, like even just suggesting that only one of them needs to go take care of this kid. He's like, oh my god. He's just like, why don't you let me? You know, maybe I could go fight Shocker. It's cool, man. I'm good for the money.
It's really. I got extra enjoyment, if only because I feel like I kept constantly joking about the double tails.
You did.
I just kept saying it. And then it was like, and I was like,
And it was-
I'm being stupid. I'm just saying stupid shit while we watch Kamen Rider. It's just like, I'm sorry, but both sides were tail. I'm sorry to deceive you. I have to.
I don't-
Nothing personnel,
Just
kid.
fucking
Yeah, it's-
lost my mind.
I think that's the weirdest thing is why the fuck did he even cheat?
600
Why
I-
did
just
600
care so
IQ
much?
play.
He's so thirsty.
He could have just been
I
like,
think-
hey, we don't both need to go. I'll go see if I can find Shocker. You take the kid home. We'll meet up at Sakurajima.
Blood
You
for
didn't
the
need to
blood
flip a
god.
coin for it.
Like,
Blood for the blood god.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite bits of this, and I'm just realizing it now, but it just elevates it to the perfect level. After he's driven home, you get a small scene of like Hongo getting on his bike. He skips.
Does he?
Onto
Oh
his
my
bike.
Mhm.
god.
Yes. He is doing like a dance. He just looks so enthralled. This is the same sort of dance I do when I'm like getting my water ready to, go up to watch Kamen Rider, and he's just doing it for murder fashion.
I missed him
Like,
so much.
Yeah, I mean, this
Ugh.
is the shit that really made us fall in love with Hongo, because good lord.
like
So I guess we figured it out. The two hates of the two Kamen Riders. Hayato hates women and Hongo hates kids. And they both love murdering fascists.
Given the kids Hongo has interacted with, I don't blame him.
Yeah, it's fair.
He didn't get that Goro time.
yeah, he hasn't really.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Birdsy.
Happy birthday.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like...
Yeah.
Well, I guess
It's not
to
his
be
birthday
fair,
anymore.
Hayato did not have to face...
Or it's
Hey,
his
I'm
birthday
looking
for
at
30 more
this-
minutes.
Sorry, this has nothing to do with. I'm looking at Hayato, or not Hayato. Sorry, Hongo.
Yeah.
This picture of
Yeah.
Hongo, of him with the coin, that I'm going to post on Twitter, as we're recording, so it'll already be up. My man's got a coke nail.
Oh,
Look at
shit,
that
you're right.
pinky.
It
he
is.
does.
Hey, it's not that much longer. Come on.
That's significant.
Yeah.
That is not okay in terms of like actual measurements, disregarding proportions. It's not crazy long. I don't know if you could actually do the job with
yeah.
something of that length.
But also, why is what? All of his other nails are trimmed. What is going on?
Well, there's one that's broken.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
Um,
honestly, Hongo, you need to get some tips from Hayato, honey, because
I
your
don't
nail
know.
game busted.
I don't know, man.
It's-
It was the
yeah.
70s.
His
Yeah.
thumb looks a little longer too. His thumbnail.
yeah.
The broken one,
Honestly,
I figure he's a stunt man
compared
because it's what he's always been. But
Mm.
Yeah. Compared to what I normally see of length, these are just a tiny bit longer than average. But that is definitely a
Yeah.
longer pinky.
It's real prominent, specifically in, like, this frame, because it's out in front.
You got the foreshortening on that.
Maybe
one
he was a
finger, just tiny
painter.
bit.
I don't know. I have to wonder.
Because if you watch the original, I say original as if there's been a replacement, but if you watch The Joy of Painting, eventually you'll see that Bob Ross has a really, really long pinky, and it's actually used to scrape off paint instead of like
Sure.
a chisel.
I got a horrible mental image because you said pinky
Not
and
nec-
not pinky nail, and
Yeah.
I just this horrible appendage.
You never see it.
Just like 50 joints. No, but the truthfulness of that statement is debatable, but it's a potential
I don't
second.
know if I have
piece.
to, if Hongo's painting, but yeah, sure.
That being said, if Hongo's actor was definitely into cocaine, I wouldn't be surprised.
It was the 70s.
Yeah,
It was the 70s. We're barely getting out of the.
he just got over
We're barely
Okay.
getting out of the times where kids were prescribed cigarettes, I guess.
God, I love smoking those prescription menthols, baby.
Kamen Rider Kids Menthols.
Doc said take 2 a day. I don't know.
Oh my god, just
Leave me alone, Mom.
the absolute image of those like fucking Flintstone cigarettes commercials.
Yeah.
Fucking Kamen Rider just beating up a bunch of fascists and then taking a smoke.
Through his mask.
Gives a whole new meaning to taking your Flintstones every day.
After a long day of beating up fascists, Hongo, was it Takeshi Hongo enjoys the cool taste of a marble.
Just smoking them through the mask.
You gotta get the money shot with his face, like him in the suit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Him in the suit,
Mhm.
just like lighting up the cigarette. Just, it would be. It would be hell of a, it would be excellent marketing.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of into it, honestly.
You want to talk about excellent marketing? You do this
Convincing
back in the beginning of the show, back in the Snack Amigo days.
Yeah.
You have him roll up to Snack Amigo. He gets a cigarette lit up by Mari, or not Mari, by Ruriko.
Yeah.
Him, Ruriko, and Tachibana are all smoking.
Yeah,
while
Tachibana's already got the
Shiro's serving
pipe.
drinks. Yeah, Tachibana's
He already
already got the
smokes
pipe.
in the show.
He been smoking.
He's been smoking.
There you go. There's some marketing for
You
you.
want to hit on my pipe?
Don't smoke, kids.
I got marble slims. That's all I need.
I can't
Suit
wait
yourself, Hongo.
until 8 years into this project where we finally have watched enough Kamen Rider where we can debate which Kamen Rider drinks the most G
Oh,
Fuel.
XA, how's that a question? There's an entire
Oh, yeah.
season of
Never
writers
mind.
that are gamers.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, never mind.
What Rider Girl drinks the most G Fuel?
Mari.
Okay, yeah, if we're talking about our writer girls, then probably Mari.
I'm tempted to say Hiromi.
I could see Hiromi. The thing about
your
it
crackers.
is specifically, the question is who of that group is going to need the most energy?
Probably her, actually. I think Mari's just born with it.
Oh, you really?
Or-
you think she's
I
just like
believe
that?
it.
Or has the cocaine.
Huh?
If
That's fair.
anyone else on
Yeah,
this
maybe
cast
she's the
is-
one with the coke now.
Probably would be.
Yeah.
God, in hindsight, a little too real. A little too real, y'all.
Damn, you think? But we got. So anyway, he goes to Jolly skip
Yep.
about on murder.
All Hongo, he's real pleased with himself. So, after cheating Hayato with a double-sided coin, Hayato takes the boy home while Hongo goes to fight Shocker. We see that the hotel guests are being forced into a tunnel underground, where they are forced to work for Shocker. Watching this scene on his disco rave TV is Dr. Shinigami. Where was I?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So Dr. Shinigami is watching all of this on his rave TV when a grunt reports of a suspicious figure approaching, and we see Hongo arriving in the area where the base is hidden. So I mean, yeah, this was just like a pretty simple bit. Although I know everyone had a lot of fun with Dr. Shinigami just in the chair watching the TV with the flashing lights. Yeah, lots of Mario power up jokes. My note for this bit just read Carmel dancing in the wheelchair. Because I just thought of the meme.
God.
Yeah.
Just face down in the Shocker base.
Him lying face down in the soccer base with all the rainbow killers around.
I'm gonna make if I post the Carvel dance and stuff to YouTube with just with this
You know, You know what? No,
flashing in front of this guy's face. Am I gonna get DMC'd?
maybe.
I mean,
No, but
maybe.
I don't know. Well, I have
Yeah.
an idea though. I kind of want to make
Okay.
that. I kind of want to make this happen.
Oh,
We'll workshop it.
Okay.
I got ideas.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's great because we get a shot of Hongo riding up to the area, and he just looks he looks so happy. He's so pleased with himself. Oh goody, oh joy, oh rapture! I get some murder. He is just pleased as punch to be rolling up on a shocker base so he can annihilate fascists.
So
It's-
happy for him.
It is insane. It's like I feel like the way they were trying to characterize Hongo has like backfired on the show. Like I think the reason why they have him be all like smiley and happy-go-lucky and kind of like jovial is I think
Yeah.
they want him to be like, you know, like the hero type that's always got a smile on his face, and he doesn't frown so that the people around him can feel safe and stuff. Very kind of All Might-esque from My Hero Academia. But it just kind of comes off as, boy howdy, there sure is one thing in this world I love, and it's murdering fascists. Let's go, kids!
I mean, to be fair, All
Like-
Might too beats people to near death with his bare fists on a regular basis, or at least he used to.
I mean, that's fair. I
That's
think the
the
difference is
difference.
All Might
Near
didn't
death.
have the zeal for it,
How dare you?
At least I did. That's fair. I don't know All Might. Maybe he did.
I love him.
I feel like Hongo is the
I
kind
love
of
him.
guy who looks for an excuse to fight a fascist, whereas All Might, I feel like maybe not so much, but I might be wrong.
I mean, that's kind of fair. I guess All Might is really kind of deep down at heart a real hero. He's there to help people and keep people safe. He's
Right,
not out here for
exactly.
the bloodlust.
He's
He can
he's
get
not
it,
gonna,
though.
from what little I know. From what little I know about God damn it. From what little I know about All Might, I don't.
I'm
You
sorry.
get the-
I just kind of started disassociating when people start talking about My Hero. And I was just yanked back down into reality.
Smack back to reality.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes Shakes.
I was just like, my soul, it was leaving my body a little, and then somebody just pulled that thing down straight to the ground.
You got
Merc.
fucking nope.avi.
Yeah.
Apologies.
I don't think All Might is, unlike Takeshi Hongo. I don't get the impression of that Takeshi Hongo would rip a man in half and just let the blood pour over him. Like, I don't know if
Yeah, no,
I don't
All
think
Might's a
he
little
would.
more
You're-
chill.
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
I guess basically what we're saying is the difference between the two is one of our heroes is a psychopath, and we love him for it.
Mhm.
Yeah. God, he is
He's-
deranged, even,
Yeah.
and I love him.
I mean, God, that really is just kind of all there is to it. Takeshi Hongo is a crazy motherfucker, and we love him for it. But going forward, so
Absolutely incredible.
yeah, Grunt reports of a suspicious figure approaching, and we see Hongo arriving in the area where the base is hidden when he is attacked by shocker grunts. He turns into Kamen Rider and fights them, but is attacked by Armadillon, Mogarang, and Ghoster. He continues to fight, but when his Rider click is deflected by Ghoster's armor, he is bested when he falls into part of the volcano. So we got a fight scene. It's fight scene time, y'all.
Woo!
Mm-hmm.
If
So
you
much
were
murder.
paying attention when I was reading through that synopsis, that's right, you heard it right. Our good boy, the peeled gorilla, is back, baby.
Yeah, camouflaged as a rock.
Yeah,
Perfect disguise. Also,
perfect.
at the beginning of this one, or at the beginning of both of these episodes, I believe we made a little jokey comment. I was like, oh man, 2 Kamen Riders, but he's gonna have twice the work now. With, with
yeah,
this kill
and-
count. And I was like, and me in the back of my head, I'm just going like, it'll probably be the same amount. There'll just be 2 guys, so it'll be a little split up between them. No, actually.
They do.
Hongo does
so
an
many
episode's
fucking
worth of
murders.
work in this fight scene. It's insane.
It is insane. Yeah, they do so much murder in these 2 episodes. Like, I cannot wait for the next death count to come out just because, like, the numbers have to be fucking insane. Because yeah, I'm sorry. I legitimately, while watching this, it was either this fight scene or the fight scene that comes later. I was just like, "Hey, B, I'm sorry."
It's alright. I mean, I'm just very happy he's back, and I'm happy to see him killing people again. It fills me with a primal joy that I can't describe.
Yeah, I mean, it was so good to see it, but like, yeah, there was just kind of this constant thing in the back of my mind of like, holy shit, that's a lot of murders.
Good for him, honestly. I'm glad he's having a good time.
Yeah, please let us know if you do end up needing any help on that death count, because I know you said while we were watching, it might come down to you just having to watch all of the fight scenes twice.
Yeah, that's probably what it's going to end up being, just for the sake of accuracy.
Good lord. That's a lot of murders, y'all.
Again. 2 full asses.
Yeah, truly.
2 of them. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't believe you have 4 butt cheeks. That's amazing. Wow.
And,
They all have different tones.
and B is a green striped rabbit with 2 butts.
And I appreciated it. I don't know if there's anything else really to talk about for this particular fight scene. I think this is specifically so when Armadillon first came back, I did comment on his thing because my notes were he's back and making a weird noise. But yeah, this is the fight where I specifically put as a note because of how like this guy goes fucking insane during this fight. Words truly cannot do this justice. You have to go watch this fight scene because it is constant that he's just ringing like you got a call waiting. It's, oh my lord, it was nuts. I don't know. I wonder almost if it was like an artificial sound, because I can't think of like a voice actor who would be able to do that noise with both the consistency and the pitch and like the range that these rings had in the actual episode, because some of them go long.
Some people roll. Yeah, there's some professionals out there who will
Yeah,
roll their
maybe.
shit for a long
But it's so high
time.
pitched too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe this guy's just a real gangster.
If I wanted to really embarrass myself to all my neighborhood and household, I'd probably give it a shot.
That's fair.
Heck. I could.
I mean, other than that, there isn't a ton to talk about for this fight. I mean, Peeled Girl's back. That's dope.
I have things to talk about, mainly the 6 sword shit.
Yeah.
Because the Shocker Mooks come out with these, like, they look like they were like, what did you B described it as something?
I said batons, I think.
Okay, yeah, kind of
so
baton weapon things, but in reality,
they kind of look like the weird staff things they had in the first episode.
yeah, and they use them as such, but in reality, they are also sheathed swords.
Mhm.
So Kamen Rider picks up on this instantly, steals one, unsheathes it,
And starts going
to town. Does this cool ass like samurai like resheathing, starts hitting people with it. Has a mook catch it so he can pull the sword back out and slash the guy behind him.
Doesn't he do that like twice?
Yeah,
Like once in each fight?
they keep
They
falling for
never
it.
learn.
Yeah.
It's a spot, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
The crowd pays to see that
Yeah.
spot. It's not about the actual match. They buy their
People wanna
ticket
see
because
the
they want to see
450.
because they want to see the Kamen Rider go Henshin and then do the thing.
There's a really good one, because you were saying like how he unsheathes this stuff. There's a moment where he has it sheathed, and he goes to swing through the blunt end. One of the shocker mooks catches it, so he just pulls it out of the sheath, and as he does, he slices it across his arm. Oh,
It's so good that we have to talk about it again.
We have to talk about it twice. Yeah.
So nice.
Poor Gopher was just
Sorry.
lost in the
Yeah.
euphoria of thinking about this fight scene again.
Same, Gopher, same.
I mean,
I am there.
To be fair, this had something for everyone. We had fucking Armadillon off the shits. We had Mogurong show back up. We had Hayato doing sick sword shit. And we ended the fight by fucking Ghoster hitting a shining wizard on fucking Kamen Rider. I don't know if that's what it was supposed to be, but that's what it looked like. And it was dope.
Yeah, Ghoster comes in, you know, he gets his cronies to really hammer on him or whatever, and then he comes in to steal the pin. Because he just shining wizards Kamen Rider and then dumps him off of a volcano cliff, Mufasa style.
Basically. But this is where the this is where the prestige comes in, because you would think, oh no, perhaps Kamen Rider is kill. But what if Kamen Rider wasn't kill? Where am I in my notes?
Fucking nonsense.
Here we go.
Kamen Rider is kill.
No, because you see back at the Shocker base, Ghoster is asking about why Kamen Rider isn't kill.
What?
And Dr. Shinigami is like, we're gonna put a brainwashing helmet on him because he used to be a Shocker fucking Kaijin, and we're gonna turn him back into a Shocker Kaijin. And then I appreciate it because I think he repeats this line a couple of times. He definitely repeats it at least twice in the episode. He says, "We shall now have traitor fight traitor."
Yeah. It's a solid line. You know, like, for being a Dracula,
a Dracula,
I think Dr. Death Steve Williams has made a real good first impression on me as a villain.
Yeah.
for this plan.
He's done like the best villain shit so far.
It's pretty cool. Like, he's just like, "Hey, we made this. Let's just fucking put the helmet on. Give me the helmet.
Put the helmet back on, stupid.
It's a stupid helmet on him, and have him go crazy. He's already doing it. Just redirect.
He's already crazy. Just turn him around.
Just point him at Hayato.
Get him out of here.
So yeah, that is the plan. We are going to point him at Hayato, but first we have to figure out where is Hayato. But brainwashing device, Honga makes you fight. There we go. At Sakurajima, we see Goro looking for Hayato when the boy. Go ahead.
Tatsuji.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. No. Oh, I did call him the boy, didn't I? Yes, Tatsuji.
We have now since learned his name.
Yeah, now that we know his name. Look, I am reading this verbatim, and I didn't catch his name when I wrote it, so he's just in there as the boy.
The boy.
Hello, boy. Anyway, Goro looking for Hayato when Tatsuji, who he was previously with, asks to use the telescope he is using. The boys get in a fight, but are broken up by Hayato, who explains the situation. Yeah, we need to get into this, because holy shit.
This scene is so fucking weird. Goro, who has definitely forgotten who Tatsuji is at this point, just gets in the most petty squabble with a kid who was, as far as we are concerned, minutes ago, very worried about his mom and extremely distraught.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're just like, "Hey, let me use the telescope." "No, fuck you." They just get into a brawl on the ground.
It's so good, because the kid's like, "Can I use the telescope?" And Goro's like, "Not right now, I'm looking for someone." And the kid's like, "It's important." And Goro's like, my thing is important too. And I think the kid like tries to push him to the side, and Goro's like, fucking, you what, mate? And they just start
You will
going
pay
at
for
it.
your crimes.
And it's like this is like a fucking boy fight. They grapple each other. They're rolling on the ground. Goro almost
Hustling.
closed fist punches this kid in the eye.
Yeah. He's got him by the collar. He looks like he's almost trying to apply a choke.
Yeah, really.
Like he's about to throw closed fists, and Hayato finally interrupts, looking very
So thank
proud of
you.
him.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, if I was also like whatever Hayato is to Goro, I'd also kind of just be like, "Oh, there's my little ass kicker. Love you, guy." But also, come on.
Kid. Don't let him keep you down, kid. But also, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, come on, Goro. I'm proud of you, but also I taught you to act better in public. Well,
Did he really?
who knows?
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe Hayato is actually kind of a bad influence on Goro.
Certainly
I don't
isn't.
know.
Certainly isn't teaching him
least
to
it's not
respect
on
women.
Yeah, that's true. Here we go. Explains the situation. Hayato tries to see if he can call Taki, but is called out by Dr. Shinigami. Hayato accepts Shocker's invitation and tells the boys, I will just go ahead and put it because I just have it as the boy because I know his name. Tatsujin that he will save his mom. Hayato arrives at the meeting place and is attacked by Hanga. After a fierce battle, Hayato is able to undo Hongo's brainwashing, but then is bested by Hongo, who is then attacked by Shocker. So yeah, we just kind of get, Hayato gets on his bike. We get some nice establishing bike shots. Although I guess they're not establishing shots considering it's this late into the episode, but we get to, we get some nice bike footage.
Yeah, we get an extra minute of footage out of it of
Yeah.
Hayato riding a bike. Whatever.
Yeah, I am at it. I appreciate that the introduction to this fight is Hongo starts rolling up in his Kamen Rider form. Hayato's like, "Oh, Hongo, there you are," and then Hongo just tries to run Hayato over.
Yeah, he just straight up, just like, "Hey, what's up?" It's
I
I
can't do a Wilhelm scream, but I wish I could.
I used to be able to do a real good Wilhelm scream. I have not kept in practice.
And ain't it always the way?
This is a valid writer tactic, though. They've both done
Yeah.
it multiple times to people. I'm just gonna run your ass over on this bike.
I mean, it's a dope fight. I don't know what else to say.
It's
It's especially if you are like me, where you have watched a lot of more modern Kamen Rider, where Kamen Riders fighting other Kamen Riders is not so uncommon. Like that shit always
Uncommon?
rules. And
Rider. Yeah.
I
That
like
is
it.
admitted.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
what
that
those
is.
are.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't mention. He sounds like he's throwing up.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, he retches. It's despicable.
It is just where I said mid tier. I'm sorry. I think this man has to actually go a little lower.
Poor guy.
Wait a minute, you don't like my laugh?
That's not.
Are you alright?
It's like
Are you
the
okay?
Blob, but with even less effort.
It's like the centipede, but actually just horking up something instead of just being a smoker's laugh. It's just. He's throwing up magma.
Yeah,
He's belching smoke.
Yeah.
I don't know.
he spit on fire. But yeah, so I mean, Rider on Rider fight, it's dope. the resolution of which is really weird initially until a certain part is revealed, which we'll get to in a second. But essentially, like, they kind of just lock up with each other, and Hayato is like, remember, Hongo, remember who you are. You're a Kamen Rider. You're a hero. And you see their eyes flash at each other, and it's romantic.
A little bit.
It's not that romantic.
He's got a
Hongo.
reverse Mufasa him.
Yeah.
He already got
You
Mufasa.
have forgotten me, and so you have forgotten where you came from. Remember.
You are the one true Kamen Rider.
So yeah, I-beams, it seems like Hongo's maybe okay, except then he's like, bah, bah, bah! And he takes out Hayato, which, admittedly, this went differently than I was anticipating, because Hongo is kind of just immediately attacked by Shocker after supposedly winning the fight. I really thought this was going to be a thing where, like, they were going to undo Hongo's brainwashing, and then he was going to pretend to bring Hayato in, and then they were going to both kick ass in the base. But, like, they don't let it get to that point.
Bro, we got 5 minutes.
I believe
truly.
Shakes and I both had, like, the same thought that we announced at the same time, which was more so that they just with the helmet got rid of any of Hongo's inhibitions, which means he's just down to fight and kill anything he sets his eyes on.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was the assumption, yeah, immediately.
Because he has no qualms about fighting these other Shocker people. Like, they come attack him, and he's just like, cool, I'll do a murder. Oh, Hongo, he's always about it. So I think there's, like, one more little bit. Yeah, Best by Hongo is then attacked by Shocker.
I missed it so much. I missed so much, because Hayato is like a relatively reasonable guy. He'd be like, what's going on? Stop fighting me! And I believe if the roles were switched, I don't know if Hongo would hold back. He'd be like, so you're approaching me.
Yeah, really.
Rider kick.
Yeah.
If Hayato got brainwashed by Shocker and sent after Hongo, Hayato would die.
I mean,
Yeah.
they did pull the fun, perfectly symmetrical violence moment with the dual rider
Yeah.
kicks.
They both tried to rider kick each other. That was great.
It was. I love it. Love me some perfectly symmetrical violence.
Just
it never
love rider on
solves
rider
anything,
fights.
but I do love it.
It negates all damage and looks cool
And
as
we
hell when
love
it does
that
it.
for it.
Yeah, it kind of ended up
I
like
love
the
that for them.
Yeah.
like the Super Smash Bros. 64 opening.
Oh yeah.
they just both threw their sex kicks at each other and it canceled out.
Hell yeah. Kamen Rider sex kick. Fuck yeah.
Is that not what he does? Are you gonna look me
It's
in the eye?
absolutely the rider kick is absolutely just a sex kick. Now that I'm thinking about it, especially now where they don't really have like the posing down pat yet.
Yeah, he gets the he gets more build up as he holds it out, so it just maximum damage onto a cyborg.
Hell yeah.
Super
okay.
Smashing Brothers.
They sure are. As they are fighting, Hayato gets back up and the pair of riders fight off Shocker together, killing off Ghoster. Hayato saves the people in the tunnel and looks for Shinigami when he runs into Hongo, who says he already left. And we will go ahead and I think we're gonna save this last line of the synopsis for last because we gotta unpack some shit.
Yeah.
Let's finish this fun fight scene. We got Shocker Mooks, we got 2 riders, we got 3 Shocker Kaijin. All fucking hell is breaking loose. It's great. This is just a fun ass fight. We got more sword shit. We got more double rider kicks. We just get a lot of good stuff. in this fight.
Armadillo just gets jobbed out.
Yeah.
after his cool new. He then proceeds to just get tossed off a cliff, back bumps, and just goes. He's done. No explosion. He's just done.
Just onion rings.
How does Hayato get back up? you may ask. Why isn't Hayato taken out?
Well. So see, the weird thing is that question is not actually asked. Specifically, the question
It's answered.
is... No, that's not the question that's answered. The question that's answered is how is Hongo's brainwashing undone?
Well, sure, but like Kayato's only standing because I assume he pulled his punch. And
I guess that's
and
fair.
it was a ruse.
Yeah.
A ruse.
Whether or not it was your intention, you have now become passengers on Hayato and Hongo's ruse cruise. Now, how could they establish this ruse while they were fighting each other when all they did was lock eyes for a second? Well, the thing that you have to understand is that even across a distance of thousands of miles, all Kamen Riders are telepathically linked. Or, as I said in my notes, you're what? Like, holy shit, what an explanation for that. So, apparently, this whole time, Hayato and Hongo have just been talking to each other because they got telepathic brainwaves just shooting across the ocean at each other. Which is the most fucking insane concept. Why would you install that in your fucking... in only 2 of your cyborgs?
But it gets worse.
Maybe they installed
though.
it themselves.
Do you think?
Because
is that possible?
You screw
Right.
up one Kamen Rider. It starts fighting against you, and then you make another one that is linked to the one that is fighting against you.
Yeah, I don't... What the fuck was the
What?
point? Like, the only thing I can think of is that the idea was, we're gonna fucking telepathically link this one with the other one, so that way, when the one that is working for us is ready, we can just hunt down Hongo wherever he is, because they've got the link. Which also makes me think that maybe the telepathic link is what told Hongo to go save Hayato in the first place.
Maybe.
Which means, like, damn, Shocker, you fucked up big time.
Definitely not according to Shin Kamen Rider spirits, but
Yeah, no,
we
that's
can
definitely
pretend
not how it goes in
anything
Shin.
we want in the series because they don't explain it.
Yeah, really. I just... Holy shit, man. What a wild revelation to
It's
come
ridiculous.
40 episodes into your show.
It does explain how Hongo knows, fucking what these monsters' names are that he's never met.
Yeah,
He's like,
that's fair.
Armadillo Hog. I know you. It's funny.
I figured he just knew because Armadillo was from, like, Shocker Brazil, and, like, maybe there was a communication about him. Maybe he had a layover in Switzerland or something. But it is probably more likely.
I'm just picturing him on the plane. He's just like reading a fucking like airmail
Yeah,
or Sky Mall. That's what I'm looking at.
yeah.
Everyone fucking hates him. He just keeps going like he's not in a really crowded area.
Yeah.
Sir, I need you to keep it down. I'm getting complaints. Sir, I know. But
I'm just thinking about, like, 6 Shocker people being on this fucking flight with this asshole Armadillo. Can I get you anything to drink, sir? Another one? Figure out what the fuck.
you're making him sound like a cat.
Sound like a cat.
I imagine he ranges anywhere between angry phone and gentle cat, and honestly, it really amuses me, and I think it's brought his rank up a few steps in my mind.
That's fair. Armadillo 2 is far superior to Armadillo 1.
Wait, this is Armadillo 3.
Is it?
Wait, what?
Yeah, because the poisonous plant
Clown
episode. I'm pretty.
Oh.
Was Armadillo
Did
not one of the monsters that got brought back and gassed by Taki?
I think he might actually be.
Yeah.
Let me check my notes.
I mean, it certainly peeled Gorilla 3.
Yes, they had Mukadelis Armadillo, Mogurong, and Connie Bubbler.
Oh my god.
Holy
So this
shit, you're right.
is
This
Armadillo
is Armadillo
3.
3.
Third time's a charm, baby. They'll remember me if I make a fun
Like-
noise.
Fucking eat your heart out, Cobra, man.
Yeah,
We're on
fuck off.
Armadillo 3.
I'm imagining like Fashy statue. It's like, Armadillo, look at me, and then that's a good armadillo.
Oh.
That's just a purr. That is just a purr. It's not even a trill anymore.
Armadillo.
I assumed there was some
absolutely
petting in that situation or something. Were you striking him?
Baby.
Bad Armadillo. Bad. Just peeking out the mics.
Why are we bullying him? Oh, he's a fascist. Who cares?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel bad because I forget for a moment.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wonder if Armadillo knows what he's doing
Make
at
him
all.
sound so wholesome first.
Right?
Just
Yeah,
an
that
idiot.
noise might not even be voluntary. That shit might just be happening.
He's just wandering in and fighting whoever they tell him to fight.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Anyways, Kamen Riders, telepathically linked. It's time to kick
Yep.
ass.
Time to kick
And
ass.
chew bubblegum.
We're all
Let's
out
see.
of.
And you know, we have plenty of gum, but we're gonna
It's time
kick
to-
so
We're
much.
never
It's
out of
time
ass.
to chew ass.
Yeah.
Dick kick 'em. Dick kick.
Oh, good old dick kick 'em. All right. Now it's time for you to feel the pain that we felt, audience. We've had a real fun episode the whole way through.
Oh,
Oh,
hold
go
on.
ahead, please, Shakes.
The ending,
Make the joy
the
last a little
climax
longer.
of this fight.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
the double rider kick to the ghoster.
The double rider kick to Ghoster, who staggers back, and nothing happens for a good few seconds,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and then it does a close up on his head, and he's just like, bah! And then it just explodes.
when I was watching something, I thought something was a little off
Mhm.
about that shot. And I
Tell
was
us what it
right. So if you look at about 2:09, he stands up. He's like doing his vibrations, trying to stagger up. He is explicitly behind or in front of a cliff face wall
Mhm.
on the ground. And then, he vibrates a little bit. 21:10, head explodes. 21:12, he is flying off a cliff face.
Oh yeah, he flew over the rocks and off the other end of the cliff.
Yeah.
To grandmother's house he
Yeah.
goes.
Oh,
That
and then he
exploded so hard you got launched.
God, and then he in cannon double explodes, and the Kamen Riders have to take cover.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right, because he lands and they're like, he's gonna blow.
Yeah, the first one is just him rocketing over the wall.
It's about to
Krakatoa.
explode.
Yeah. I forgot you Krakatoa. Oh god.
But yes, we can move on to the tragedy now. We just had to
Okay.
cover that.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
they
who
save
fucking
everybody.
cares?
and whatever.
To be fair, it's like it is your classic saving a large group of people Kamen Rider scene.
Yeah.
Shit
Yeah.
looks like it's about to
You know,
explode.
Taki's there.
All the
Hayato's
chakra mooks are
there.
menacing. Hayato runs in
Right
and beats up a
around.
couple of mooks.
Yeah.
They run out.
Yeah. A lot
And
of
so,
the same stuff we pointed out.
yeah.
Mhm.
And so we end as Hayato and the racing club crew are riding the ferry home, and Hongo comments his intention to go back to Europe. This fucking sucked. Maybe not for Shakes as much, but for B and Gopher and I, we were fucking distraught.
It's It's what
I
I understood
cried.
about this episode's chunk.
To really get the raw emotion across, my notes simply read, "No!" and then followed by
My notes specifically are, no, don't go. This is super bullshit 64.
Yeah.
I just
It
wrote down
is.
ugly tears from everyone. I have a documentary.
My notes got unkempt at that part. It's a bunch of question marks that sort of veer off and get larger, and there's no in capital letters with more question marks.
It is probably one of the only times I wish we recorded our commentary as we watched the episode.
Maybe a little.
Because, fuck. This shit sucks. I wanna go back.
Where's my bird?
Where's Ruriko?
Yeah, and where's Ruriko?
Sorry.
That's my
Dude,
note. That is
that's
legitimately my last note on this episode. This is where it kicked in. I'm just like, hey!
Hey, wait a minute.
Hey, wait a
You
minute!
motherfuckers owe me a Ruriko.
But I've already bitched about that. all I had to say. Ugh. We all got destroyed in our own ways.
Yeah, really.
But one of us will get it back. Or at least, no, sorry, 3 of us will get what we want back.
You should have chosen the right team. Should have chosen Team
I mean,
Hongo.
I'm cool with that too.
But yeah, I just like the absolute state of missing this man for 27 whole episodes and being so excited to know he's finally coming back. He shows up for a big 2-parter episode. We introduce a new bad guy. We resurrect a bunch of old shocker monsters. It's great. And then at the end of the episode, they're like, okay, fucking Hongo's gonna fuck off back to Europe. Bye. Like, God, that sucks.
Yeah. You know the scene, or the multiple scenes in Spider-Man 2, where Mary Jane is saying, "Come on, Peter Parker, please come to my play." And for a second, Mary Jane really thinks it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then doesn't see him at the play. I think that was
A little bit,
time.
yeah.
You've become an
At the end of
empty
this
seat,
episode.
Hongo.
It's just,
It is a really proper Hongo send off though.
yeah.
It is.
I mean,
It was
it's-
true to form. It brought me
Yeah.
back a little bit. He sends him off with angst because he's like, I
Yeah.
want to catch
as
up with these
edgy and
people.
angsty as
I want
ever.
to follow them back on that boat. But if I talk to them one more time, I may not be able to leave. Like, it's like, damn, Hongo.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Don't let the seeds of friendship settle in your heart, lest you deal with the consequences of caring. And it's just murder is his only true
It's,
friend.
Also, Emmy and what's her face?
Yeah.
We don't see them this
Not
episode.
really. No,
really. We
their
don't.
role
yeah,
was
they're
just-
their role
they're
was
friends.
done.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They're just kind of there. Murder is in his heart. That's it.
Like,
'Cause you'll be in my heart.
I know that we can't, we don't really have a right to complain too much because, spoiler alert, Hongo is going to come back
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah, he's gonna join
Yeah.
the show full time in
Well, we
like
didn't
10
need to
But
episodes.
say that
also-
much.
But oh well,
It's just like,
but
especially because we went into these episodes not knowing that yet. So it was just like, God, it was so crushing for him to finally be back after
Yeah.
so long and then have that just ripped away from us unceremoniously.
It's a little rough.
It's not good.
Not gonna lie.
yeah,
It's a little rough.
It's gonna be okay, me. You stay strong, man. It's gonna be alright.
He's gonna get into bed and just lay awake, eyes wide open, and be like, "Damn, Hongo left again."
Just like Steve.
Yeah, really. I mean, it kind of is like Steve a little bit.
It's not like Steve.
It is if Steve left and then came back and then left again.
What?
Which happened.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, he made guest appearances like Hongo did.
I guess that's fair.
Just...
The point is, we are sad, and we will continue to be sad. For how long, God only knows. But I don't know, if you want to cheer us up, fucking throw us some casharoni and cheese on the Patreon.
What a segue!
God damn it! Your segue was too good. We're already cheered up.
Don't let our comedic laughter fool you. We're still very hurt deep down inside, and thus desperately need your money. All jokes aside, legitimately, if you enjoyed this episode, if you've enjoyed any of the episodes, if you like what we do, if you want to support us in doing that, any kind of a donation on the Patreon at all is greatly appreciated. It'll get you lots of goodies. You get early access to the episodes, so if you're on the $5 or higher Patreon tier, you could hear potentially this episode and future episodes a day before anyone else, and that's pretty neat, I'd like to think. I don't know, other than talking about Patreon stuff, does anybody else have anything they want to cover here at the end of the episode? Any last comments or bits they want to get in, or are we got any more Hongo angst in you there, B?
Come back.
He will.
Please.
Please.
Come back. You can
Don't
blame it
leave
all
me.
on me.
In two different directions, sorry.
I will always leave you.
Oh, baby. Don't
Well,
go
fair
simple.
nude.
We can go in so many different places with
Hongo
this.
and
There's
clean
just
is
a
the way
lot of
that
pain
he's
to
making
unpack.
us feel tonight.
It's hard to let it
It
go.
really is. That being said, thank you very much for listening. Both. Hopefully you have been watching.
Hey.
If you aren't watching Hayato, if you aren't watching Kamen Rider, go do that. There's no reason for you
What
not
the
to be
fuck
watching
are
the
you
show.
doing
It's
here?
great. Yeah, also, this must be a weird-ass podcast to just listen to if you aren't
Just a bunch
watching
of people
Kamen
talking
Rider,
about
so-
a bunch of shit you do not know what you have no idea. We're not forming narratives here.
Yeah, really. You should probably
No,
just
just-
go watch Kamen Rider, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
I beg of you.
Yeah, really, go check it out. It's a good show.
For so many hours in, yeah, just watch Kamen Rider.
Just watch Kamen Rider. It's a good time. You're not gonna regret it. Just watch Kamen Rider. And
Yeah.
with that being said, remember that if you can't believe in God and you can't believe in Buddha, you can always believe in Kamen Rider.